nights. How much do you think would make?
And I have
to all year round?
I gotta go up there and bring it back. She couldn't bring
Me
it
with
back.
Brown, it's great.
I have it. You know, when you live in that, you're like, wow, it's all right.
Are you there?
Really good cow, it's good.
Hey. They use the right Brown.
And all the other-
Yes. That falls into. Like I have heard in the past, it's called quarterback. It's too dark.
And usually, when I find it,
Beige to go with the shoes with the guys.
and they,
Right. When they used to, your boat house should come up with your shoes. That's what I say. Very shoes are important. Look at the color quarterback shoes.
we go. We know
The color quarterback. Ask your practice. And you see that's a very
What happened to the lighting there? What happened to the lighting there? Is it switch off or is it off? Switch. Oh, you go. I don't know. What happened to my red shirt? Broke. No more red shirt. Oh my God. I got my water. All right. Come on, Joey. All right. Are we ready? We're ready. Mr. Hershey's ready. The red one. That's seven.
You're good.
You ready?
Yeah.
Not working? And we have no more stenographer. What's wrong?
Was it working before?
We're up to, 96. My son-in-law, they kept asking where I was.
No. Sorry.
It's not worth
So he came, he liked it. So we'll have, we have 93. Oh, yeah, that's We have the garbage is the town. So, we have to do we have a big, the thing is, don't. What exactly? But they realize, well, then you do, we haven't had a couple of then you feed a little bit. It's an interesting process.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'd like to call tonight's meeting to order. Tonight's meeting has been advertised according to the New Jersey State Sunshine Law. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Gilly?
Here.
Mr. Halverson?
Here.
Mr. Langley?
Here.
Mr. Naftali?
Here.
Mr. Ribbiat?
Here.
Mr. Ingber?
Here.
Mr. Gross? Mr. Gonzalez?
Here.
Mr. Halberstam?
Here, we have a full quorum. Do we need to speak for tonight? Not yet. Mr. Ingber, I think you want to leave a little early, so please hang down and don't leave, okay? All right. Okay, I'd like to ask everyone to please rise to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Okay, I'd like to welcome everyone back to Lakewood. I hope everyone had a good Lakewood and everyone's feeling relaxed. And we will start tonight's meeting. Can I have an approval of the minutes for March 5th, 2018?
Motion?
Motion from Moshe Langley.
Second.
Second from Judah Ribbiat. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Gilly?
Yes.
Mr. Langley?
Yes.
Mr. Ribbiat?
Yes.
Mr. Ingber?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Okay. Madam Secretary, do we have any correspondence on tonight's meeting?
Yes, appeal number 4062, Yehudas Krieger, they asked to carry to May 7th.
Yehuda Krieger, and why? Why are we carrying it?
I don't have a reason
And when did he submit this notice?
this afternoon.
This afternoon?
That's the one for Mayor Penzer.
Oh, okay. Okay, and I guess it's the first time, because it's the first time it's on. Or was it supposed to be carried last month, or when I wasn't here?
This is the first time.
It's the first time, is everyone okay with me carrying it?
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion from Mayor Gelli, second from
Ribbiat?
Mayor, Judah Ribbiat. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Gilly?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson?
Yes.
Mr. Langley?
Yes.
Mr. Naftali?
Yes.
Mr. Ribbiat?
Yes.
Mr. Ingber?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Halberstam?
Yes. If anyone is here for appeal number 4062, Yehuda Krieger, please know they'll be postponed to May 7th. Any other correspondence?
Mr. Chairman, that was without further notice. correct?
Yes, without further notice,
Thank you.
with the waiver of time. Yes, thanks for bringing it to my attention.
Appeal number 4064, Yuri Mayor Canaric. They did not advertise, they will not get heard tonight.
It did not advertise, so it doesn't even belong on the agenda.
That is correct.
Okay, so no one, so if anyone that's here for 4064, or Mary Canary, please wait for your advertisement to be published, and then it will be put onto the calendar. So we're not even putting them on May 7th at this point.
That is correct.
Okay, next one,
Appeal number 4068, Chaim Abadi.
4068,
They'd like to
yes.
carry to May 7th. There is a neighbor that wanted to look over the review the plans. So they're trying to work something out with the neighbor.
Okay, and is this the first time that it's here?
Yes.
All right, is everyone in favor of it?
Yes.
Okay, can I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion from, what's your name again? Bush Langley?
Second.
Second. Second, Judah Ribbiat. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Gelli?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson?
Yes.
Mr. Langley?
Yes.
Mr. Naftali?
Yes.
Mr. Ribbiat?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Halberstam?
Yes. Appeal number 4068, Chaim Abadi. If everyone is here for that, please note it will be heard on May 7th. Without further notice and with a waiver of time.
Okay. Appeal number 4071, Alexander Hoffman. They did not advertise. They cannot get her tonight.
4071. Okay, so whoever's here for 4071, please note it will not be heard. Please wait for your notice, and then you'll know that it's on the calendar or not.
Okay.
What else?
The correspondence, I think was taken off. I don't see Chaim Abadi now.
Is that Chaim Abadi?
Yeah, the correspondence, Joe Bishop.
On Joseph Weiss?
Yeah, the correspondence was intentionally removed, discussed with the town engineer and worked out the need to.
To move forward with it. Okay. For correspondence on 3940, Clover Street. Okay. So it's been all resolved? Excellent, great. Fine, so if that's the case, we're gonna go into new business. New business, East 7th Street Properties, developers, East 7th Street developers, who's right here for them? 4058.
The applicant is seeking minor subdivision approval and use and bulk variance relief in accordance with section 18-902E of the UDO to subdivide an existing 33,443 square foot property known as Lot 4 and 5 in Block 222 into two-family duplex lots. The applicant proposes to construct one irregularly shaped duplex structure on two zero-lot line properties. The new lots are designated as 4.01 and 5.01 on the subdivision plan. A residential duplex building and paved off-street parking areas and aprons serving the duplex are proposed.
Can you guys hold on a minute?
We just got this today, this is not on Orchard, this is on the Brickland Way.
I think, I didn't get a copy, but I was just told about it, from Mr. Clary, we have a response to address it.
If you need it, you need it.
No problem. Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Are you here for, East 7th Street developers?
Yes.
Okay.
Not representing the applicant, Mr. Chairman. What you have before you is two single-family lots in the R12. The applicant, who's going to be the end user, is looking to combine the oversized R12 lots to make one duplex for himself and for one of his children. If I can, just mark, and that's Brian Reed, just mark the exhibits at the moment. If we get it It works, it's more than this time.
Why don't you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth?
I do. Brian Flannery Jackson, New Jersey licensed professional engineer, professional planner. I have 4 exhibits marked here. A1 is a copy of the tax map that I've highlighted, and I'll explain all the pretty colors on it. A2 is an area showing the subject property, which is already 2 lots, 2 single-family homes to be built on, and you can see there's a large wooded area behind it. That is the area that the Brick MUA sent a letter about. I appreciate them helping us out in Lakewood. We are aware that it's wetlands and there's C1 streams and it's environmentally sensitive. We went to the DEP. We have the area determined where the transition area is. What we're proposing is outside that area, so their drinking water is safe and everything is good.
Wait, before you continue, on that, on the letter from the DEP that I'm holding here in my hand today, are you saying that you have the letter of interpretation from the New Jersey DEP?
That is correct.
Okay, fine.
The A3 is a copy of the minor subdivision map that we proposed, and I've indicated in orange the outline of the 2 lots that exist. In blue, the 2 dwelling units that could be constructed on there. As of right, we can go to the building department tomorrow and ask to build it. This particular property owner it wants to build here for himself. The smaller house will be for his daughter, his youngest daughter, and he wants his house that will accommodate his family, his large family. So we're not talking about any additional density. What we're talking about is instead of what is permitted on the existing lots, which in my opinion doesn't look as nice, and it isn't going to look like a zoning board project. It's not going to have the fancy stone and the irrigation and all the other good things that as you drive to the Lakewood, it's a really nice project, you say zoning board, planning board, nobody zoning board. And 84 is a rendering of the plan submitted showing the building that's permitted. It doesn't go to the limits of where we can build. We need space on the side for rolling pads. It has nice jogs on it. The architectural plan was submitted. If you look at the architectural plan, it shows the kind of building. It's very well thought out. Particular plan for this particular owner. This is the neighborhood he wants to live in. He owns the property, and his youngest daughter will be in the one next. Those are the 4 exhibits.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
So basically what you're asking is, the application is for a duplex instead of for 2 single family homes?
That's correct. Instead of leaving a space in the middle, we want to move them together. They'll be closer to his youngest daughter. There'll be more room on the sides. It's no more building. It's no more trips. It's no more people. It's nothing more. It's just instead of separating it, we're moving it together.
Just now, what do you gain there?
What do we gain by that? It leaves space on the side, and it accommodates the house. If you look at the architectural plan that's submitted, he's very particular about what he's looking for. So it accomplishes a living situation that accommodates what he's looking for.
So based on what I see here in the architecturals, you can't put this type of house on that upland if you want to build it singly. Is that what you're pointing out?
That is correct. The type of house that he wants for himself doesn't fit on his lot. So the way to accommodate the house that he needs for his large family is to slide them together.
And when you're building this house, how is it going to be protecting the wetlands on the side and the rear of the house? Is it going all the way up to the wetland line, or is it going to be pulled away from the wetland line?
It's going to be off the wetlands. You can see the area that's shaded is the area that the DEP said is a transition averaging plan. The wetland line doesn't show going through there, and typically you would have 50 feet to the wetlands. What they did is an averaging plan to say instead of giving 50 feet all the way along, we're going to do a little more here, a little less there. And it's something that the DEP and the regulations provides for, and it provides the same buffering and the same protection to the wetlands. And if anything out there, there's some wetlands that are spectacular and going to be really more careful with. These are ordinary type wetlands. It's a depressed area that was created when the roads were built years ago. A the wooded area considered Lakewood. On A1, I've indicated in green the wetland, property that's in there, so it's roughly 30 acres, and you can see the same thing, on 82 where all the trees are. Those are trees that are staying. It goes all the way up to, Cabin Field Circle, where, townhouses were built, years ago by, Somerset Development, and they did the same thing. They left the open space behind them, and built along there.
I'm sorry, but there wouldn't be a difference, if, correct me if I'm wrong, if they were building the two singles or the duplex, the same LOI, the same buffer.
That's
everything
correct.
is the same.
That's correct. The shaded area, you leave home, and the white area, you can build it, and you can see on our plan that we left some green between the shaded area, and the development on both sides.
Connery, what, on A1, what's the area immediately to the east of the orange? What is that, where it's green line?
The green line area,
No,
that
no,
has
no, no,
line.
just right next to the orange.
Right?
On the street, yeah, right there.
Well, I outlined a green line of the wetland, area, a 30-acre wetland area that's north and east of this property. And it's bounded by Somerset Avenue on the east and the Cabin Field, development to the north.
But what's the purpose of the,
Of the cross hatching, I didn't have enough, ink in the highlighter to color it all in.
Brian, the total square footage, I see you have 9827-23,616. What? I'm confused. Is this
Well,
9800?
there's two lots that exist today as shown in the art.
Right.
There's a 98,000 square foot lot and there's a 23,000 square foot lot.
Oh, there's two.
There's two, correct, there are two lots.
we have 9,800 square foot.
9,800,
Oh.
excuse me. Make the property a little better.
What's the size of the large house and what's the size of the small one?
In the duplex,
Well, I see this, it is one duplex, so you're gonna
no,
squeeze.
Rob, say, but there's a footprint showing for the image.
I'm looking at the plan.
So the architectural, yes, so
Yeah,
the
duplex.
breakdown.
It seems the plan is one on the right, I guess. Much smaller.
Right, and that is for the order of the applicant, small avenue, has.
Usually it's the other way around.
Well, he has a large family, so we want to accommodate his family. You can see, when you look at the architectural plan, he has that indicates that, you know, he has
Can you explain the side yard setbacks that you have set here?
Yeah.
Is that based on our 12, because, or is it based on?
based on the subdivision application that was approved by the planning board. What the planning board required was a 7.5 minimum on one side when they created these 55 lots, and a 16-foot line. So on all of them, you would see a 7.5 and an 8.5.
So are these now 2 lots or 1 lot? You subdivide into 2 lots,
It's 2 lots today.
right?
If the board acts favorably on this application, it'll be two lots when it's done. And instead of 2 lots with side setbacks in between, it'll be 2 lots with a 0 lot line.
So if you build nothing, if you build single-family homes here, what would be the side yard setback? What would be the obligatory side yard setback?
7.5 foot on one side, 8.5 foot on the
So
other.
you're not doing anything different with this huge lot, with the
Ten.
duplex? What?
The middle is gonna be combined.
I understand, but so once you combine it into a duplex, what is going to be the side yard setback? Is it the same as the 7.5?
We're showing 8.5 on.
One side?
On one side, and the other side, it's got an open space area, so it's big.
Okay.
114 feet.
And I'm assuming that what is the square footage of the smaller of the attached homes, the one on the right side?
What's the square footage? You can look at the thing on the pipeline.
I don't see a table of the area, maybe on the first couple of sheets.
Is it possible the footprint of the larger home is 3,000 square feet on the bottom floor?
6,000 square feet.
It's about 5,000 for large, 3,200 for the small.
32.
So what I'm hearing is over here, we're not adding any more density to this whole project. I mean, the same exact density within there. With that, two families. Now, I did notice that there won't be a finished basement over here and underneath the smaller house? Are there? Oh, there is?
There are bedrooms in
Both
both.
Okay.
We're not dipping it over here for the student, yeah.
Well, no, there will be a same time.
There's only one basement.
Yeah, but it's a,
One exterior area.
Yeah.
Okay.
one apartment, I'm sorry, I need to correct it over here, but looking at it again, there's only one apartment in here on the whole basement.
The,
So go on through there, you can put it in, go through there, put it in. Okay.
and the way the architecture plan is going up, and the intent of the applicant is not to have an apartment there. He's having bedrooms in the basement and those rooms in the basement, so he can entertain his family. He has other family in the area.
He has another family in the area?
Yes.
Mr. Flannery,
You
Okay.
have outside, outdoor entrances.
Here's one. Yeah, no, this is going down to
Flannery, can you
the.
provide testimony
This is
to
going
the city
upstairs.
manager?
Upstairs.
Why do you
We
get?
have, we have
Only one
many
entrance.
plans.
Only one entrance.
We will address
To the park.
everything in the letter. You want to, just want to go through,
Yes.
He has a right to get out, to use his backyard, and do the same thing that I would have. I would want if my grandkids are visiting, for them to be able to get in. There's mudrooms for both of the units.
I think we would agree to stipulate to all the normal conditions of the zoning board usually imposes on.
What, three, per brick? If I look at the, rear elevation, at the front elevation,
But it's always the minimum.
Go all the way up.
I think you're going a little bit sugar over here with, the third roof, on block. You know?
And obviously, he's doing foundation planting. he's doing
I sure hope
everything.
you can do foundation plans with something like this.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about sprinkler system here either.
At
Yeah.
this time, we
Yeah.
have asked the planner to kind of sort this through, attorney's review letter, to address, all the elements.
So, as indicated, the reason we're here is because duplexes are not permitted in the R12 zone, and I do have a map to show you. I always tell all my clients, the zoning board is not going to permit duplexes in the R12 zone unless there's really good reasons, and I think there's really good
So
reasons.
let me ask you a question. On that note, are you gonna come back to me next month and tell me that I put a duplex and therefore give me another duplex somewhere else?
Well, if there were these exact same circumstances, which I know they're not, then I would come back and tell
But you know what I'm gonna ask you, if this doesn't get approved and you tell me that, I'll tell you, fine, you can have a duplex, so long you don't increase the density on that new duplex.
Exactly, that's the case here, and additionally, it's more than just not increasing the density. It's compatible with the neighborhood. The zone line comes right to the west of us, and it gets duplexes on the block right to the next, so duplexes are permitted in this area. I've highlighted in blue, the undersized lots and the non-permitted uses that are in the area. So it's a very unique area, and this fits in it. And the zone line, if you see the way the crazy zone line comes down, it goes over. If it comes straight through, we'd be allowed to have the duplex. So
But it only goes over because of the wetlands, so we went around it.
no, it goes over because some person, when they drew it, years ago, just drew it.
And we looked at-
I've been
we
working
looked at-
with Sid Lakewood
is that
long
what you
enough,
told me?
I know there's things that make sense, and there's things that don't. This doesn't make sense. So if
So
I come back
consistent.
to you with another one that's not on the edge of the zone line, that doesn't fit in with the neighborhood, that's increasing the density,
Okay.
you can tell me I'm crazy and send me out of here, and I would advise my client not to submit applications.
Okay.
This particular application, I said to my client, there's 11 others, and I have the plan, if you want me to bring it out, and then we all know where they are, and they all have very good reasons. Now there'll be 13, and this one also has very good reasons.
Ryan, could you explain what's going on in the basement here? Ballroom, warming kitchen, what's that about?
He had a large family, and when his family comes, he wants to be able to accommodate.
And all the neighbors and all the shuls and all, I mean, seriously, this is, you know, the house next door has more bedrooms than the large house. I mean, this looks like somebody's building either a shul or some kind of catering hall in the basement. I have never seen any application ever with a warming hall, a warming
Right,
kitchen in the
and
basement.
someone's calling you.
Okay, I'm.
If you want to come, you have to stand up and get sworn in. Are you from the public? Are you the owner?
No, I'm.
1 second, please, excuse me, whatever your name is, sir, speak to your attorney, tell me what you want to tell him, and then turn around to our attorney and get sworn in, and then tell us what you want to say.
Sir, would you raise your right hand? Do you affirm to tell the whole truth?
Yes, I am.
Can you give us your full name and spell your last?
Yes. Andre Herzat is spelled Herzat.
Sezeft.
Yes. His first name is Andre, Andre.
Anybody got that?
Andre Herzog.
What's the last name again?
Herzat.
Zep.
Okay, I'm the son-in-law of Mr. Reichman building this house, and I live in the neighborhood. I would have 4 other siblings who live in the neighborhood. My father-in-law has a couple of kids living in Brooklyn. Eventually, we all know where Brooklyn is heading, and he's building a house to accommodate. In Brooklyn, he lives in a big house where he has, I've been there now for Passover, with a bunch of kids, who had over 40 grandkids staying by him, and he hopes to do the same in Lakewood. And that's the purpose of why he's building this bigger size of house, with no intention of shul or whatever, just to really have to mention.
Mr. You mentioned it's looking like it's gonna be a catering hall down there. So are you telling me if the family's big enough to hire a caterer and just to serve the family
Actually,
itself?
his house in Brooklyn has such a big dining room too. He makes almost every work himself in his house. At the Passover Seder had the number of 38 people, and he hopes to do the same here in Lakewood.
Mr. Everett, you said that we all know where Brooklyn is going. My son lives in Brooklyn. Where's it going?
It's going south. It's going south.
But again, any of these items will be moved into a single-family house as well. It makes more sense for this applicant to combine it, they can do one facility.
Yeah, we
For
need
the
to-
record, I'm sorry, so Mayor, for the record, you would be willing to put down that this is not any catering facility, it's also private family?
Yes,
Sure,
Yeah,
understand.
that's not a problem, again, anything you have to come back to those board, but we're not looking for this is an end user.
Fine, so then if you're looking at approval, let's put that into the minutes.
Yep, okay, no problem.
It's a resolution, it's a resolution.
It's not a problem.
Right.
Do we have Mr. Flannery testify as to the bulk variance?
Yes, we're getting through the.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Herzog.
Come, what happened?
Well, the only relief that we're asking for here is a use variance to allow duplexes in the R12. And I know that's a big hurdle to overcome, which is why I wanted to make sure the board understands completely that this is a very unique situation. It's not a situation that's going to come back again and the board is going to have to hear this. And that what we're proposing is nicer than what can be built permitted. It doesn't increase the density, it doesn't have any negative impact. If we look for the justification for that, it's a Z variance. The master plan of 2017 on page 2, under population growth, talks about all the expanding population. On page 3, it goes on to say all the births, and we're probably over 5,000 births per year at this point. And it concludes that based on this information, it's important that Lakewood plan for the residential development to house this growing population. Now, this doesn't add housing opportunities, but it does provide a unique housing opportunity for a property owner who's going to come here and be able to live there comfortably. The vision statement on page 7 of the same master plan says encourage development and redevelopment based on smart growth plan principles, and it's my testimony that this does that. The municipal land use law NJAC 40:55G2, under the purpose of the access to encourage municipal action, that the appropriate use for development of all land in the state in a manner which will promote public health, safety, and general welfare. And it's my testimony that this does that. D is promote the establishment of appropriate population density and concentration, which contributes to the well-being of persons, neighbors, communities, regions, and preservation of the environment. We're preserving the environment, and you just heard the applicant's son-in-law say that it is going to be contributing to the welfare of the neighborhood for him and his other siblings. This is a use variance, and there's generally 3 different kinds of use variances that you get: an inheritance benefit, hardship, or, just promoting the general welfare. We're not saying we have a hardship, when you build 2 houses, it's not going to be as nice as we're doing, we're not saying it's inherently beneficial. But we are, it is my opinion, and we're saying that this is, for the general welfare, and it promotes the general welfare in the sense that it's desirable for the applicant and to the immediate neighbors, and it's specifically suited, to this use.
Ryan, I have a quick question on what you just said. You just mentioned to me that, as someone mentioned that he wants a big house. Can he put that size house, it would be separate, totally separate on it with that big,
You would get the same,
What?
you could get the same square footage, but it wouldn't be laid out as nice as it would be other.
So it wouldn't work?
Well, it doesn't, it's not,
Okay.
this is a better alternative.
I don't think you get the same square footage.
That's what I'm trying to
Well,
say.
you can get the same square footage, but you can go right up to the line.
Well, we don't wanna go up to the lot, we want to stay away from the conservation.
And we can go up to the front setback line, all the areas where we didn't squeeze the house in, and then you're gonna have a house that's a lot.
It won't give him, well, that's exactly what I'm reading, it won't give him the look that he's trying to. Yeah. Right.
Right. It won't be as
Overall
nice.
square footage you can have.
Yeah, but it won't give him this type of home that he's used to living in.
Right.
Okay, good.
Okay.
It's my testimony that this relief will be granted without any substantial detriment to the public good, and that will not interfere with the intent of the purpose of the common plan zone.
Okay.
Right.
It's in relevance to the area, and there is no negative impact.
Mr. Flannery, are the C variances requested because of the constraints imposed by the wetlands and the conservation area?
The C variance is granted by the state, which is 2 lots that are existing that already have them. I think the report does have asterisks that say,
It says that you need, there's a double asterisk for minimum front yard setback.
Well, let's walk through each of the zoning criteria.
Can you give me 1 second? Just
Fine.
want to say something.
On this, when I'm looking at the basic again, I see that it seems that in the warming kitchen, there's a door that goes into the ballroom and a door that goes in from the garage to the warming kitchen. Could you explain that?
This is where
sure, the applicant
Yeah,
parks
all the way
the car
down.
inside, when
Correct.
you're older, you want to be inside, and
Last I heard, the garage doesn't have an entrance to the
Here's the
basement.
duplex.
if the basement, if you look at the plan, it's
Underneath?
a garage on.
Okay, and you had mentioned earlier that that there was one exterior entrance
Just for
to
the
the
record, I'm
basement.
showing what these are.
And I see,
On the bigger one, there are somewhere you can get to the back, there's like one door where you can get to it from 2 different sides, you can set this up to accommodate the needs of his family.
well, I see that there are 2 basement entrances on both the large house and on the small one. There's one in the front that goes to the basement, and then the back of the house is also one that goes to the basement. And the same is true, on the smaller house, there's one in the front of the house, and then there's one towards the back of the house. It seems to be.
What page are you on?
A6.
Okay. What's your question? I'm sorry, I was just showing.
There are 2 basement entrances on both, parks.
So, Mr. Rivia, what's your question?
What's my question?
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with that? Because typically, when you build a house, this is what we see here in front of us today. Every time somebody builds a house, when they have 2 basement entrances, there's always a suspicion or possibility that they have an option or opportunity to build a second apartment. And it doesn't matter what this says, because if the footprint allows for 2 basement entrances, then that's something that we typically do not allow.
But I see 1 basement apartment over here, and 1 basement apartment over here, and a so-called ballroom to Hank's family. That's over here before. So what are you worried about that? The entrance to the ballroom is gonna turn into another apartment later?
Anytime a house is built, the reason why we attack our practices and not to have 2 separate entrances is because what we see in front of us is not always within its front. And if somebody has 2 basement entrances, then there's always a
But
possibility.
on this side, there's no on the right side, there's no 2 basement entrances.
Yeah, there is.
I see
On
one.
both of them, I see one in the front, at the front of the house.
Yes.
And one on the side of the house, further back, about 2/3 of the way through.
Which plan are you looking at, Mr. Gaines?
The one that you gave me, A6,
Well,
page
there's 2
A6.
basement plans, that's what I'm asking.
Okay, the one that says A6.
On A6,
finished basement plan.
Yes.
Is there another one that I should be looking at?
No, I think A6 is the best one to look at. I wanted to make sure we're both looking at the same one.
Okay.
On the side one, I see that there is a front door coming in to the living room, dining room, and I don't see any.
Which one are you looking at, Frank? Okay, so on the right one, what, this is here, right here. I thought this was an empty. Is it flat?
My room is fine.
Okay, fine. And on this one? There's one here. But both, wrap, it is an essence.
This is
Hold
storage.
on, what?
This is storage, there's upstairs. These are-
Again, the entrance there is through, on the larger home, it's through the walls. Then there is another entrance that goes into the units.
The apartment. First ten.
Based on my understanding of the applicant, I seriously doubt he's going to be renting that out. It's going to be living space for his family. But if he wanted to rent out his apartment, right?
You would be allowed to, there's no question about that.
Yes, he's allowed. It's clearly allowed.
Right.
If he wanted to, he's allowed. If it'd be one apartment, I don't see how more than one apartment works on either of these two. But we're certainly willing to stipulate to whatever you want to stipulate.
Okay, can I open to the public, your paper?
Me and Mr. Dasty, we're in the middle of.
Just want to
talking about-
clarify, the variances and just go through the official legal side now.
So, I gotta admit, I didn't study, the RDE report with respect to the bulk variance as well as I should have, because I know our office did the planning board application where the bulk variances were granted. So the double one needs previously granted, the single one needs, so minimum lot width. I didn't look at it closely, it does go from 50 to 40. So, the testimony on that would be the same as the testimony of the other, it's the C2 variance. The benefit that way, the detriment, there's no detriment to it, the benefit is a house that, is down. I see the minimum side setback, where it's, 10 to 25, and again, those were granted, but it would be the same thing. The benefit to that, just as when we presented it to the planning board, the benefit for that, you have a unique piece of property, and you can provide the housing opportunities and a nice residential development in accordance with the master plan and the ordinance.
Right, and on the point of setback, I know it was previously granted, 25 to, or 30 were required, but we are asking for that same variance.
Yeah.
So you're staying with, you're not adding, that, you're keeping with the same variance over
Previously
there?
granted 25 feet.
Okay. Okay.
With that, Brian, is there anything else that we need to address in Terry's review letter that we can't disagree with?
Well, there was questions to provide testimony with respect to the architecture and basements, which we already had, and then the testimony with respect to the wetland buffer. We cited at the beginning, and the gas line is the buffer average line that we're not allowed to exceed, and all the development is going to occur in the developable area in accordance with the DEP permit.
And in accordance with the brick, MUA's
Well,
letter?
we're taking care of the brick anyway, and
Okay.
we are happy for that.
And we will provide average buffering for any cases.
Okay.
And
Fine.
parking?
We provided 4 parking spaces on each site. The larger one actually provides for 5 parking spaces if you count the garage. We have 4 parking spaces as part of the smaller one, then a 36-foot driveway going to a garage under, and then we have 2 separate parking spaces.
So are you asking for a parking variance?
We're not asking for parking variance. If the board wants us to do more parking, we can easily fit a couple more parking spaces in there, but if
Do you need a parking variance?
No.
no.
No? Doesn't go by bedrooms also?
It depends on, who's interpreting it. The residential site improvement standards have 4 single-family detached. They go up to 3 parking spaces per unit. We go to basement. Lakewood usually asks for more when we go for the building permit. The other way it gets looked at, we're exceeding it because we have more bedrooms in the basement than is normally there. The Lakewood way on basements is, basement, whether it's finished or not, they count it as 2 bedrooms.
Question.
4 bedrooms in each basement, you might need more parking. You have at least overflow space for parking in the front.
Can I interrupt you on
Yeah.
that? I have a recommendation on that. Because there's a lot of wetland space right in front, and if you're on Off Street Park on East 7th Street, there will have to be built. So you can park all those overflow right in front of the
There's
wetland
certainly
area.
never gonna be houses built in 114-foot, section on East 7th Street.
So you have all that on Street Park right there.
Right, and if the township engineer, when we go for the permit, says we need 2 more parking spaces, to make it 2 more.
That's okay.
Okay. Anyone from the public want to be heard on application 4058 East 7th Street Developers LLC? Please step up.
Mr. Klein, please raise your right hand. Do you affirm to tell the truth?
I think this is plugged in at the wrong plug because you can't hear.
What's plugged in the wrong plug?
This wire is supposed to be plugged in the.
So go ahead.
Bottom one.
All right, I have no idea, but no, please do.
It's set for a 40-foot, 40 amp. So you put it out.
There you go.
There you go.
I think you got a job. I think from the superintendent high school building.
No, somebody's not doing their job.
No, somebody's got a job. Hired.
Anyways, first of all this is an end user, whichever way he wants to build, it's not a developer. So I'm having a hard time complaining about it. But there is he's asking for, and Brian is saying he's asking, the off-street parking, on-street parking is for everybody. It shouldn't be used for him. And he doesn't have enough parking. He has an attic, a few bedrooms. He has 5 to 6 bedrooms on the second floor, plus he has the basement bedrooms. And the way he and Brian said that he looks in the ordinance, that it says basement should have only 2 bedrooms, that is only if it's a row basement. But if you finish the basement and you have more bedrooms, you have to calculate the bedrooms. This is an argument where I went through with Brian already a while. But there's not enough parking as far as the UDO goes. He needs more parking, and if he could put in more parking, he should. He shouldn't use the on-street parking. But I just want to mention something about putting in a duplex versus 2 separate single-family homes. I'm strongly opposed in generally. This is a private guy who wants to do an illegal basement. I'm not going to argue. But in generally, when you have a duplex, you have a problem with sprinklers in the basement. It's a safety issue. You don't put in sprinklers, you can't make it legal. We went through this with Francine Siegel as many times. She knows very well about it. That if there's no sprinklers and it's going to be apartment, this is a safety issue. And to just turn a blind eye and say, hey, we're not looking at it, we don't see an apartment, and the guy is not putting in sprinklers, what?
I was going to say, that's a building code issue.
Yes, but to turn around and say that it's a building code, when we know that there's thousands of basements like this in Lakewood that were promoting illegal behavior, when the zoning board could technically stop it, he could say, listen, you have an option. You could put it away 2 single families, then we have no issue with sprinklers, because they don't need sprinklers to do the basements, or if you want to put it together, we'll give you that, but we have a condition. Put in sprinklers. You could do it. It's not like you can't do it. But to turn a blind eye and say it's a building issue, we don't know about it, is when you know that there's a
I don't
safety
think
issue.
anyone's saying we don't know about it. I think the building department has to enforce that it requires, if they see an apartment, they should see on the building plan a sprinkler system. It's just like you see when you build a building plan and you see HVAC and you need to see dampers and shutoffs and everything else, or when you build electric, you need to see cut-off switches. If you see a basement apartment, you have to see a
They're
sprinkler system.
claiming that it's not a separate family. They're saying they're not trying to get out.
The zoning board doesn't have the right or the power to require sprinklers. It doesn't have the right to require larger diameter pipes. It doesn't have the right to require particular fire-saving equipment. That's for the building.
I agree, but if the zoning board sees that there's an apartment over there, and it looks like an apartment.
So let me ask you, Mr. Klein, usually I don't like to argue with you, but here I will. If somebody's building a basement apartment, you know that there's a code that you have to put in fire blocks between the basement and the second floor. Okay? Do you want me now to make sure that I have fire blocks? or is that a building, rough, criteria that you have to put in fire blocks? Or do you want me to say now, insulate the basement, because you're putting an apartment inside, make sure the apartment is insulated? Well, let's go ahead and put in fire rated insulation. Come on, where's the limit?
We don't get involved with it.
Where's the limit?
I'll say, through the board, I'll just say
Yes.
one thing. The applicant, is different than all other applicants.
I agree.
This applicant has come and presented a basement apartment, and he's asking for it. He's gonna get an approval for a basement apartment also.
That's not what I heard before. He said he's using it only as bedrooms.
Yeah.
He
Well,
presented a basement apartment, it's on the plans as a basement.
That's not what he said before. There is a kitchen, two kitchens, the
It's two
basement.
basement apartments, architectural, let me finish my point.
Yes.
He presented an architectural showing another apartment with an entrance going down. He's not trying to hide that he's building an apartment. Usually, everybody comes up with a raw basement and they do what they do after the fact. Here he's presenting architectural above board, showing it up front, and I'm sure he will do everything else needed. I have no doubt that he will put in, the sprinklers, but it's not our department to check the, electrical outlets, the, faucets, the pipes, certain things we can do, but,
I think we could go on all night over here.
Yes, sir.
And I'll rest it over here and
Thank
make
you.
my point, you guys make your point.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night. Anyone else from the public want to be heard? Seeing none, we'll close to the public. I'd ask my fellow board members for final comments and a motion.
One second, before, I would like to see a little bit more parking. Just because if there is gonna be a lot of family coming in, there is a ballroom, there is an elevator,
Okay.
and there's coming all over, at least 2-3 more places. It's not gonna affect anything, and it will alleviate the street.
We can comfortably add 2 more places.
Yeah, but if that's the case, Glenn Chuck did more, and I did, but if that's the case, I just don't want to see more parking. I want to see nice parking that should blend in with a beautiful front, with a nice lawn and a garden or something.
everything else looks really nice now, like this.
I don't want the parking to destroy the whole front look.
Brian, maybe you could look into that block that we once spoke about, a block with the grass can come through somehow.
Oh, grass creek, so that's
So the
overflow
overflow.
park.
And on the conservation thing, is parking allowed over there? Okay.
So you can't put any gravel on there to use it for parking?
No.
I don't know. Regular gravel you can't put there?
Nope, can't put anything there, can't remove any vegetation or add any.
Are you gonna lose all the green in the front if you put too much parking?
Well, you can see if we put 2 spaces, we'll eat up half the green.
All right.
So
But
can
you have a
you-
lot of green on the side, so.
Yes.
Can you make the green on the side? Are you allowed to touch that also, or no?
No,
You can make it greener?
we can only take down.
Okay, so can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve due to the special circumstances of this application in, building a duplex. And it's with the understanding that the basement is not going to be, used for public in any way, just for family. And were there any other conditions I can think of?
Well,
You're gonna add, 2 more spots, sorry.
try to put more parking on site, obviously comply with all the regular requirements,
Right.
and also a 1/3 stucco on the front.
There's gonna be more than,
nicer.
there's gonna be more than 1/3 stuff on this house. But I would like to see parking which is not just blacktop. I'd like to see something exquisitely nice on it.
Mish, are you making any condition on the second entrance of the basement?
No.
Not necessarily.
I don't, that.
You want a second? I second the motion.
Okay, I got a motion from Vice Mayor, a second from Mayor Gelli, Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Gelli.
Yes.
Mr. Halverson.
Yes.
Mr. Langley.
Yes.
Mr. Naftali.
Yes.
Mr. Ribbiat.
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mr. Halverson.
Yes, good night and good luck. Thank you. Okay, moving forward, we're gonna go to appeal number Shasmas LLC. Yes. Yeah, go ahead.
The applicant is, this is appeal number 4049, Shasnis. The applicant seeks seeking minor subdivision approval and variance relief to subdivide 4 existing lots, lots 1, 2, 3, and 77, and lot 778, into 6 proposed lots. The applicant proposes to construct 2 duplex structures on 40 lot line properties and create 1 single-family lot and 1 school lot. The new lots are designated as 1.01, which is the school lot, 2.01 through 2.04 duplexes, and 2.05 is the single-family lot in block 778. Based on correspondence from the applicant's engineer, the plans need to be revised to indicate proposed lot 1.01 as a school use, not a single-family use. The plat indicates that the existing structures on proposed lot 1.01 will remain. The applicant is seeking variance relief for the use, lot area, lot width, side yard setback, building coverage, front yard setback, rear yard setback, and a minimum buffer for the school.
Mr. Chairman, good evening, board members. Noah Burton on behalf of Shopkins LLC, the applicant. This is a minor subdivision for existing lots, which will be subdivided into 6 new lots. One structure will remain on, that's a school structure, and then two duplex structures, and 1 single-family home. I'd like to call on Flannery to testify as to.
Before you continue, first of all, I'd like to welcome to the Lake County Board of Adjustments. I don't think I ever seen you here.
Come here once.
Yeah, maybe when I meet you. So what's your name again?
Noah Burton.
Noah?
Noah Burton.
Burton, okay.
You know, as members of the neighborhood, sometimes you get roped into trouble.
I hear where we're going. Okay.
Flannery, you swear or affirm to tell the truth?
I do. Ryan Flannery, Jackson, New Jersey, licensed professional engineer and professional planner. I have 3 exhibits marked. A1 is a copy of the plan that's submitted showing the minor subdivision application, where we're taking a school site, adding a little property to that, 1 single-family lot next to that, and 2 duplexes next to that is what's proposed. A2 is a copy of the tax map showing the subject property highlighted in orange, and the various zones that are around. Part of the property is in the AP6 zone, and A3, which is a copy of the site plan that was approved for the school, and I indicated it contains a little piece of property that's being added to the school site. So we're not changing anything on the school other than adding a little property to it, and then we're subdividing the lots next to it to be in conformance with the area.
Brian, before you continue, can you pass me the tax maps so I can take a better look at it? From the tax, map. Thank you.
A2 is what, the lot line?
A2 is the tax map. Oh, the highlight.
A1 is the map that was submitted. A3 is the site plan that was approved for the school.
Has the minor subdivision map for the school, was that filed with the county clerk as a lot?
The school was a site plan that was done years ago.
Brian, I'm sorry, I'm Jerry. Lot 45 is the school, the one that's not colored in? Is that what I'm looking at?
No, that's somebody else's property.
That's somebody else's property. The school is right over here.
Correct.
The orange is.
The orange is the school. The whole orange is the school. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Who's over the end?
The existing school is on lot 1.
Is on lot only 1?
Yeah. The kids play on these.
Oh, okay. Lot 1 is the school. Lot 2 is what? Is another single family going in? Lot 77 is what? Brian, can you get out of here a minute? Lot 1 is saying here, this big lot over here is a school.
Yes.
Okay. Lot 2.
We're adding a little piece to the school.
You moving this lot line over?
Yeah, you get.
Okay. No, I have it right here.
Okay.
Okay, but I want to understand. I want to understand the lot.
Having a single.
duplexes.
And then two duplexes, and what's this?
These are existing homes that are on 50-foot wide lots,
Single, older homes, newer homes?
older homes.
Older homes.
Single family?
Single
Single
family?
family. Across the street is new duplexes that were
Got
approved by
it,
the.
okay. Is that okay? You okay? Thank you, Brian. So let's take a look at something over here. What are those lot numbers of the single family homes?
The single family home next to us, existing single family,
Yeah?
2, 4, 5, 6.
Yeah, well, I'm looking, how come I don't have a registered owner's map here? No, I don't. No? No. No. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Okay, go forward.
I colored my map. 3 is included in the application.
3 is included in the application? So there's only 3 extra, homes?
Yeah.
And all in the corner where there's no blue around it, over the end?
Yeah.
What's over there? Right by the green line?
That's a 60-foot wide.
So why isn't that in blue?
550 foot.
60 by 150?
Yeah.
Is the new house there or old house there? What's on that? Is it empty? No. Okay. Fine. Okay. What? Okay, go ahead, Ron, move forward.
We're here asking for duplexes. Duplexes are permitted in the zone, but they're permitted on 12,000 square foot lots. And we're looking for duplexes on 10,000 square foot lots and a single family on 7,500 square foot lots. If you look at A2, for this area, that's very typical. This is the last piece filling in the puzzle. Next to it is the HD7, the west of it is the HD6. All the uses that the new uses that are across the street are similar sized duplexes. There's other indicated.
When you say similar type duplexes, are they greater or smaller than 10,000 square feet?
They are 10,000 square feet.
So it's the same as this one?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How many are across the street? How many doors?
6 doors.
And how many doors we're putting in over here?
4 doors.
4 doors. Okay. Go ahead.
Right. The duplexes are a conditionally permitted use in the R10 on 12,000 square foot. Since we're under that, we need a use variance. Looking at the master plan of 2017, under the background information on page 2, it goes through the housing, and it concludes with, based on the information, it's important that Lakewood plan for residential development to house its growing population. And it's my testimony that this is a good location to house the growing population. It redevelops a property that's in need of redevelopment. The vision statement of the same master plan says encourage development and redevelopment based on smart growth planning principles. And it's my testimony that this would be smart growth to provide housing opportunity consistent with the character of the area. Under the municipal land use law, NJAC 40:55B2, for the purpose of the act is to encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use of development of all lands in the state in a manner which will promote public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. It's my testimony that this does that. Promote the establishment of appropriate population densities and concentrations that will contribute to the well-being of persons, neighborhoods, and communities. This particular application, anybody that drives down Henry Street knows Henry Street isn't the local traffic that causes the problem. I've been guilty of it myself. If you're headed north on Route 9 and you want to go somewhere in town, you cut down Henry Street and you cut through and proceed through town. It's a roadway that a dead end, and if there wasn't the cut-through nature of it, it would be a nice, quiet neighborhood, but it's not. So what happens is with the properties that are there now, cars park on that southerly side of the street. When we put this development in, there'll be driveways there, the cars will park there, and it will provide safer egress for the driveway. The school that's here is an inherently beneficial use. The school
said cars parked, are those cars from the school?
I've never seen anybody getting in and out of the cars. If I was to assume, I would assume it was people associated.
Because if it is cars parked, I believe that school has a big parking lot, let them all park on the parking lot? Or my question is, the parking lot full and there's nowhere to go on the parking lot of the school?
I've been by there numerous times, and there's room for the parking in the parking lot. It's more convenient, and the kids play in the parking lot, so it's more convenient than some of the other parking facilities that are available to them. So they park there. When those opportunities are gone, then they'll have to park. And the corner lot that you pointed at, the school does have permission to park and use that corner property, which is just gravel now, and could accommodate cars. But cars don't park there because if the people have an opportunity to just park by the curb or park on the lot, they go with what's easy. So what we're looking for here is a D variance, and again, we need to show special reasons, and we have to show the positive and negative criteria. To me, the negative criteria, when you're looking at the houses that are going to fit in, the board engineer is going to require us to do what's right with drainage and parking and everything else, and I don't see any impact from the negative criteria. The positive criteria, this helps out the school by giving the school a little more, so the school is an inherently beneficial use, and it provides the housing opportunities that I've indicated from the master plan. So I think it's a site that's particularly suited for this type of development because of all the other development that's in the area, and I think that when you look at it, the board can grant this without any detriment to the zone plan and zone ordinance, and without any detriment to the public good.
Are we bifurcating this application, site plan later?
We've submitted it as a minor subdivision, and a minor subdivision, that's it, we have 4 lots, we're chopping it up, there's nothing else that needs to be done.
I do have one, I mean, let's put it this way, if it's the same thing as what we have across the street, you know, it's the same thing. But I do have one problem with this application. I think your side yard setbacks are way too narrow.
Well, if the board felt that the side yard setbacks were too narrow,
I mean, 5.3 feet, it to me doesn't work. Yeah. Yeah, no, this is what fine board is like, right. I know, I'm there, so, thank you. Your house width is 28 feet. Okay, why don't you make the house 24 feet? No, sorry, 26 feet. It's 20, what is it, 28? I can't see. 28 or 26? 28. 26. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4. You're picking up 4 feet. You got 1, 2, 3, 4 side yards. Actually, you got more than 4 feet. You got 8 feet. You reduce this by 2 feet each house. You got 8 feet. You got 4. You're adding 2 feet to each one. You'll be right where you belong.
we always defer to the board with, so if the board feels.
I mean, we both have white hair, so we both got wisdom. You know?
Chair, before we propose.
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Ryan, who are the owners of all the properties? Is the same owner?
No.
Which property?
Different owners, one after.
The owner of the school is the same owner of the next property over, or no?
One point one and 2.1.
Is this all one owner?
The school only owns lot 1.
The school only owns lot? School lot?
Yes.
Okay. And the single family and duplexes are owned by who?
Different entities. One's owned by Jeff Rubin. One after that is owned by LLC, Shopkins LLC, and the fourth one is.
So who's bringing the application?
Shopkins.
So Shaston's is Shaston's is the contract purchaser of all these lots?
No, not the point.
What?
Justice is the applicant, put the application together with the property owners.
Well,
And-
does Shastas have the approval of the other property owners for this application?
I'm sure that the owners sign the affidavit when the application is submitted.
Well, let's find out. Everton, we've been down that road once before.
I have no doubt.
I hope we did the paperwork right, all it is doing the paperwork.
Okay.
Paperwork's in court.
Owner of one is Masifta Ortega of Lakewood. Owner of lot 2 is Jeffrey Rubin. Owner of lot 3 is Friedman Holdings. Owner of lot 77 is Congregation.
Still owned Freedom Homes. It was bought from Freedom Homes,
So this is not correct?
Shopkins LLC is the firm.
Let's see what the state.
Terry's letter of November 29 says that lot 3 is owned by Shastas. Lot 2 by Rubin and lot 1 by the school. No, excuse me. Yeah, lot 1 by the school.
That was the prior owner.
It doesn't matter, just that, Shastas replaced Mr. Freed.
So do we
Mr.
have any
Shastas,
exhibits to that?
Mr. Shastas is the applicant.
Yeah.
Justice LLC.
Alan Shastas is the applicant. so-
Yes.
And he owns the property.
Yes.
So there's no
No,
problem.
he doesn't need
We
permission.
have the paperwork for everybody else, so that's
Yeah.
not a problem.
Yeah.
So one owner owns all lots?
No, he has the.
He has, the owners of the other lots are here as well.
Excuse me?
The owners of the other lots are here as well, in case we can.
Right, just the paperwork is correct.
Who owns the lots now?
Right.
They're currently owned by 4 owners.
Okay, by the plural Lakewood Inc., Rubin, Shastas, and the congregation?
Correct.
Which congregation?
I'm sorry?
Charter.
Congregation Trust.
Charter.
Is this correct?
Nothing to do
Charter
with,
home.
nothing to do with the school.
Nothing with this, no.
Okay, Shaston, that is Shaston LLC.
He has an interest in all of
In
them.
all of them.
Shaston has an interest in all of them.
So he's partnering in all of them.
Yes, that's what I'm hearing.
Right.
Right?
Okay, are we okay? Can we move on?
Yeah.
So the bulk variances that were
Brian, why don't you look,
requested.
I'm gonna ask Brian to continue.
Is that correct?
Well, I would just say that somebody that gives the names and addresses of people who own at least 10% of Shastas.
Understood.
Can I see that?
According to this, Shastas is block 778, lot 3.
I understand the issue.
Right.
There is no.
I tell you, Jerry, I tell you what the issue I have.
He was asking a question, he got sidetracked.
I had the question was like this. We have a huge property here, but there's a lot of things that can be done. If you comply with the 12,000 square feet, and each lot gives another 6.5 feet, a little bit, 6.5 feet, you comply to all those lots, you give half of the single-family house to the school, which needs more space, the whole would be a beautiful project. Instead, we have a school that needs space, is not getting space, we have a single-family home that doesn't fit, we have the other ones, because across the street, they have a very short, very small, this one should do it again. So we're clogging the street more. It doesn't make sense. If the whole thing would be one owner, which I thought it was, but now I see that it's not, then it's a mess. I don't know where to go from here. Because if it would be all good, the school gets a little bit more space, keep complying, have the 12,000 square feet. This is an R10. R10 is a single family home for one house. You put in a duplex and an R10 because the other side of the street has it. It's already very good. It's already congested. I don't see how this works properly. And now with 4 owners, it just makes it more complicated.
Well, it makes it more complicated, and that's how the LLC got involved to make something that works, because with the lots that are there, we could get,
You get a single family home for 3 of them, and the other one, I'll get a single family home.
Mr. Naftali, you can still make that a requirement of your approval. So the fact that there's one applicant, they're gonna have to deal with whatever the decision is. So don't let that concern you in terms of what you're looking at.
No, I just raised my concern, but it just makes no sense to me. Something like that.
lot 2, you could put a duplex on, because it's big enough for a duplex. The other 2 lots, you could put singles on, so we have 2 singles, because they're existing 50-foot wide lots. So we're gaining 1 door, and what we're doing is by putting this together, we're building something that's compatible with the area and giving some property to the school. So that's the benefit. If these property owners don't get together, lot 2 becomes a duplex. The 2 50-foot wide lots probably stay as the old houses that are there, and it doesn't get redeveloped. This is an opportunity to redevelop. The school gets some property, and there's 1 extra door that's accommodated in an area where it fits.
How much more property is the school getting? And how's it gonna benefit the school?
But just by getting land, it's benefit to the school.
The property is about 18 feet wide by 150 feet.
So you're giving the school 18 feet on the side of the school? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
18, you're giving the school 18 by 150 feet?
About 3,000 feet.
About 3,000 square feet? And
Why isn't that to give so much to the school?
What?
Why isn't that said to give so much to the school?
I guess for more playground, for more play area for the kids, 3,000 square feet of play, 3,000 square feet of play.
How old are the kids in school?
What's the age of the school?
And there's an enclosed area there, let's say,
Can you put a basketball court on 18 feet wide? Or is it too narrow?
yeah, but I think that would fit for that, that's the way it is.
So is the plan that this area could be enclosed as a playground? It's gonna actually be enclosed, or is the school just gonna have to win?
Or we're gonna expand the school on 18 feet in a year from now?
Because what are we doing with this? Here's a good question. This question is, what are you're giving land to the school when you're basically sacrificing the other lots to make them smaller. So what are you doing with this land? How is the school benefiting? You have to make all the difference there. That's the question.
Was lot 2 ever owned by the school?
Right now, the school does use a portion.
Yeah, was it ever owned by the school?
No.
How'd they get an approval to build a building if I own the property line?
No building.
You know?
That was Bob Singer's office.
Frank.
Yes.
Frank, what are the side setbacks on the duplexes across the street?
Duplex across the street.
The side setback.
Off the top of my head, I'm thinking that they're probably, the one that was done last year probably would have been 7 and 7, because that's what this board ran.
So is there any way of making it a little bit more than five?
We talked about that before. I told
Yeah,
you-
but you asked it was 7, is there a way to do something that would make it work?
The applicant would defer to the board's chairman's wisdom at 7. We could do 7-foot side setbacks.
Because if you take away 2 feet from each house, then you have 2, 4, 6, 8. And you need.
And you have 4 side yard setbacks, so you have 2 feet, 5.
You have 3 side yard setbacks.
No, you have 4.
So I'll
You have
just
4.
take out a single family home.
Yeah, think of the same family home.
1,
You got 1, 2, 3, 4.
There's 2.
So if you want to take out a little,
So you
if you want
have-
to make the house a little wider, then just add less to the center ones, because
Second one, you have 10.5 with the 2.
10.5, so if you add another foot, you'll have 12.
Put one on this side.
You want to decide, but at least we'll have 7.5 on the most outer
Does
ones.
that work for that?
We're up to that, and we got time.
Yeah, when the chairman mentioned it, I thought what the chairman was saying is 7-foot sides for the duplexes, and the applicant would agree to that.
Okay. Let's open the public.
Okay? Let's
Let's
open to the public, and say, we'll revisit it afterwards. We do that. No, you can't. Okay, opening to the public, appeal number 4049 Shaston's LLC. If anyone in the public wants to be heard, please step up.
Sign, you affirm to tell the truth.
There's a school involved over here, I don't know how, and then there's a attorney that I have great respect for him. So that, for reasons, is like trying not to say anything negative.
Did you say you have respect? Don't slam him. Don't disparage him like that.
Yes, I have respect for him.
Twice in one night, you don't want to say anything negative?
Yes, something's happening, I must not feel well.
Any fix the ABs?
Go ahead.
Again, I have an issue with the basements as far as putting in duplexes. This is again putting in duplexes on a lot that you need a conditional use, you need a D variance, and basically with creating these basements from duplexes, we know that the fact is they will put in apartments and it won't go through the regular process of putting in sprinklers. They will put in like everybody else in Lakewood does, and it would of course for the developers to put in $5,000 per unit, and it would be safe. And God forbid that something happens, the kids nobody gets killed, nobody gets injured. It's a safety issue, and just to look away on it and look at it as we are going to give. I was figuring it's a school. I was like hesitant, but if it's private people, private developers that want to gain an extra door, how they call it, they're gaining like $150,000. If they gain money, so much money in this little that they have to give back to put in sprinklers to make it safe, and they're not willing to do it, and I know the attorney and the board have their opinion, and this is and you might not like what I'm saying now, but I think the township committee with the boards, with the attorneys, are colluding and not making sure, and then the inspection department not making sure that the public in Lakewood is safe. And sprinklers are put in, and if you put in duplexes and it looks like it's going to be an apartment, somebody has to make sure that the developers are not getting greedy. If somebody's privately building a house, I can't say anything, it's his thing is, but if somebody's building for the public, and the public doesn't have an understanding that it's not safe, and then they rent it out because they don't even know that it's not safe to rent it out, I think it's not acceptable. I think somebody has to voice it, and even this board, I disagree. I think the board could put in the condition that sprinklers should be put in as far as safety. The same thing that you're concerned about other stuff, you should be concerned about safety of the residents of Lakewood. Thank you.
I will do that. Anyone else in the public want to be heard, please step up.
Sir, would you raise your right hand? Do you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Can you give us your full name and spell your last?
David Rattenberg, R-O-T-H-E-N-B-E-R-G.
B-E?
B, like boy, E-R-G.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
With the permission of the board, I'd just like to bring out a second some Talmudic law that perhaps we could bring to the question. It's not relevant, but the concept, the idea behind it is very interesting. You know, in the times of the Talmud, times of Gemara, it used to be the landlords had to give money, produce actually, to the farmers. There's different rules about how the farmers collected the produce. The produce on the field, everybody goes to a tree farm. Produce on the tree, the landlord has to climb up, bring it down and distribute. Of course, if all the farmers agree to one way or the other, you listen. But it says that if 99 sits on a tree, 99 are healthy people, let's want to climb up and grab it. One's enough. I don't want to do it. You follow the one, because the law is with him. You go 99 to 1, so vice versa. If 99 say, let the landlord distribute the produce. And one says, no, I want to go get it. You follow him, because that's the right way to do it. Over here, this is to me something like a similar situation. Because really, I'm bothered by the congestion. So you could easily put up 2 duplexes without any variance, without making another $200,000 in the house, and it won't be so congested. I'm more worried about
congestion goes through, as it goes down the block, each person is going to be congested a little more and a little more. And I believe it was, I'm not totally brought out, you can easily do it with 2 duplexes without any problems, and that would be fine. And that's what I would like. It's up to the board, but
Thank you. Anyone else in the public want to be heard, please step up.
Do you affirm to tell the whole truth? Give us your full name, get closer to the microphone.
Judah Bergman.
First name, I-
Judah, Judah, Bergman, Bergman.
Thank you.
Where do you live?
I live directly across the street.
In the new duplex?
New duplexes, yes.
Okay.
I'm just coming in support of the project. I'm living in this house across the street for about almost a year. I think that these houses, especially the single family, will add to the neighborhood. I think there's not really so many neighbors on the block. At this point, some of the houses across the street are dilapidated. We think it will improve the block. I don't think, I think the houses that they're gonna put up also, similar to the one I'm living in, I don't think they're not going too crazy on it. I think it's gonna be positive for the block.
Thank you. Anyone else in the public want to be heard, please step up.
Sir, do you affirm to tell the whole truth?
Yes.
Your full name and spell your last name.
Benzion Pernikov.
I didn't get any of that, get closer.
Benzion Pernikov, Pernikov.
Your address, sir?
14 Henry Street.
Thank you.
Is that right on the block?
That's across the street of Route 9.
Of Route 9?
Yeah.
On the other side of Main Street?
So when I want to drive out of my house, it's either right or it's either north or south of Route 9, or when traffic comes, it's canceled in the day, I have to cross, sneak through traffic and cross over Henry Street. That's really the only outlet to get to the eastern side of town. The driving conditions on the street are treacherous. There's no parking restrictions whatsoever on both sides of the street, on either side of the street. On the corner is a school, around the corner is a synagogue. I know, I believe that the faculty from the school does park on the streets. In addition, the existing structure, the existing duplexes across the street are not an example. I think this block is an example of bad development in Lakewood. I'd recommend that the board go down and actually see the site for itself. There were 4 structures on the block previously. There's now 5 duplexes, which is a total of 20 families. Obviously, the southern side of the block is all up for redevelopment. It's older houses which are prime for knockdown. I think that the board themselves should go down and see the site and put some thought into best use for this area without overcrowding it. The duplexes across the street are, in my estimation, about 70% lot coverage. What's left over is it's paved over for parking lots. There's no backyards. There's no places for the kids to play. They play near or in the street, and it's a treacherous driving situation.
Thank you. Anyone else in the public want to be heard, please step up.
Sir, would you raise your right hand? Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth? Can you give us your full name and spell your last name?
Aaron Burnett, B-E-R-N-A-T-H.
Thank you.
Your address, sir?
18th Sear Street.
Around the corner.
I'm not here to make problems, but I'm living on the block for 12 years. And I know they have duplexes there. They put in my town. I mean, 5 duplexes they fit in there. I didn't know that I'm able to come fight it then, but I should have. It was a nice quiet block until about 5 years ago. So they started making duplexes. And now I have a single family house with a nice sized property. And now they want to make the place look like Forest Park with like 100 duplexes all crammed together. Why can't they just make 4 single family houses? These people are not and I just want to make a buck off my back. I have a nice property. It's going to devalue the property. Just what for? Just for more money? So just cram it in. More. When's it going to stop? So they did it across the street. We have a lot of room for nice single family houses. They did it on you know, in the area, they took these, even these small properties, 75, they put a single family house, it looks very nice, but the more duplexes and more houses get it, just,
Okay.
I would like to hear from the board why it should be included.
Where's your house?
Thank you.
My house on Cedar Street.
It's around the corner, Cedar's right around.
I was there for 12 years, and I said, you know, I feel bad they're gonna lose out and making money, but I'm losing money, my house is gonna go down in value also. You know?
Thank you. Anyone else?
Please raise your right hand now. You affirm to tell the whole truth.
Yeah.
Would you please spell your, I'll give you your full name and spell your last.
My name is Mazal, A-M-A-L, and the last name is R-E-H-I-M-I. And I just want to know that I'm.
Your address?
Project.
Your address, please?
82 Henry Street. Just want to tell that, I was the only, Jewish family over there in Henry Street, and I support this, project, and I'm very happy if you're gonna build more and more houses over there. And I don't think the problem is the cars or the parking lot, because I think we have more room, and, I think I'm support this project. I'm gonna be more happy if we're gonna build more and more houses over there. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else, please step up. Seeing none, we'll close to the public. Waiting for final comments and a motion.
I agree with Mr. Natale. I think that's fair.
Okay? Anyone want to put in a motion? Or just basically, I just want to say something before we continue. If everyone remembers when the Henry Street project came up, like 2-3 years ago, across the street, I think I was a lone no vote on that project. I felt it shouldn't put it in at that time. However, this time around, since that's up already, I don't know if it's illegally set a precedent on the block, if you could say one way or the other and say that you can't put up a duplex project which is very similar in nature to what was put up over there. And also, I believe, I'm not gonna affirm, I'm not gonna say this straight testimony, but I don't know how many apartments there are in all the basements of all the new houses that went up on the block, and all the duplexes, but if everything will be conforming to one apartment in the basement and to the proper amount of cars that it was allowed for, I think that Henry Street would be not so congested like it is today. So just because somebody wants to come ahead and put in a project, if everyone would just have what they're supposed to do in their houses, the way it was approved for, I don't think the block would be congested.
But, Mr. Chairman, the applicant, when Mr. Klein was up here speaking about the sprinklers, the applicant indicated that he would agree as a condition, that my legal opinion and Mr. Klein's are different as far as what the board can require, but the applicant could offer that he would have one legal apartment and he would sprinkle the apartment, so that Mr. Klein wouldn't have to worry about that. And the
I'm
other
not
thing.
talking about sprinklers.
Okay, well, the other thing that the applicant would be willing to do would be widen on his side of the street, so that the street is a little wider. As I indicated in my testimony, and I think you heard it from the neighbors, the problem isn't the people that live in this neighborhood that are driving, it's the people that are on the other side of Route 9, and people like me coming from Tom's River that drive through there, so he would be
The
willing.
problem is not that either, the problem is how many real cars belong on those, in front of those houses that were built.
I'd like to emphasize that on that block, I mean, we're talking about one additional family. You mentioned some of the, people testified before, that build 4 single-family homes there. It's not possible to build 4 single-family homes there. So you, to build, right, you have to build some version of duplex regardless. The question of density is really a question of one additional house. And as far as that impacting the traffic and as far as that impacting the safety, by removing all of those parking spaces, not only from where the school is, but further on down the block, where it really gets more dangerous because of the cars parking. Those actually, I think those are primarily not from the school. When you make that turn on Cedar, that's really the safety issue as it currently stands, and that's primarily due to the way the single-family homes, existing homes, don't have parking, at least convenient parking, the way it's.
Okay. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say.
Jerry, the chairman had mentioned something about a consideration of legally being able to deny an application similar to the ones across the street. Does it have any standing here in terms of
No,
appeal?
because it's a mixed bag. Because the duplexes are across the street, one could argue that this is blending in. But by the same token, there's no steadfast rule that you have to approve the duplexes.
No, it's not that, it's just like, this is more or less like, set some sort of precedent on that block, that it was done before. That's what I'm
It speaks to the character.
It speaks to the character of the block. But guys, you can do it, of course you can do it if you want, of course you don't have to approve it.
Mr. Chairman, you asked for a motion. Is the motion gonna be 26-inch wide house?
I would like to see
The
that.
applicant agreed to that, so it would be 26 foot wide.
So let me move along. I'd like to make a motion to approve.
One second, Mayor, motion
Yeah,
is.
one more thing before you go. You mentioned something about widening a road. Could you expand on that?
Well, I mean, if the problem that the board is having is with traffic, the applicant will certainly widen the road in front of his property, so it would provide extra width.
So it's only in front of this
It
property?
would only be in front of his property, and he can't widen in front of others.
And you have enough depth for that?
Yes, the lots are 150 feet deep, so we do a road widening easement, and we give
How
it
much extra would that be?
To me, I don't think it really needs much more, but we can do 4 or 5 feet of extra width in front of that property.
Which property is that? What lot
The
is that?
subject property, all.
Now, is that gonna increase the front yard setback?
We slide the house back.
Oh, I see.
So that'll more or less help the parking issue, because if you park on the street, or it'll still let the
Well,
passenger go
anybody
through.
that, anybody that parks kind of in the driveways where they should be, the cars would be further back.
Further back, yeah.
So the through traffic would happen.
Through traffic, yes, through traffic. Okay, I think are you satisfied, Mosh? Can I continue the motion?
You can go, Mayor can continue his motion.
I would like to make a motion to
Hold on
approve
a
this
second.
application.
What's it, engineer?
Can we clarify, because it's gonna come back to us, so we can clarify, can we clarify what is actually being asked for now under the R10? For the duplexes, you're going for area, width, and the side yard is gonna change to 7?
7 feet for the duplex, yes.
Okay,
Side yard for the duplex is 7.
okay,
I combined to 14.
right, okay. And for the single family, are we leaving a 5-foot side yard? Or is
Yes.
that going to 7?
We were asking for 5.
Okay.
You got 8 for the single family.
Yeah.
Right. You said 5.
Well, it says 5 in our report.
It says 8 on here.
It's 8.
On the single family, it's 8.
Both sides.
Okay.
8 and 8. It's 8 and 8.
8 and 16?
Yes.
8 and 8, total 16.
Total 16. Okay, so I have a motion from Mayor Gelli, can I have a second, please?
What's the side yard setback?
7, but the single family is 8 and 8.
7 combined 14.
I have a motion.
And going back to 3 feet to make through traffic.
Yes.
And Mr. Chairman, and
Yes.
they're widening the street 5 feet in front of
right.
the property?
It's widened in front of the lots,
You said
including
4 or
the
5.
pool, I believe, 5 feet. So all the lots.
Yes.
Not the school though, the school.
I said all the lots.
The site engineer said 4 feet. Correct. The tapers would extend out.
Excuse me.
4 feet.
Whatever I say, please be sworn in.
So we should have given me engineering services?
Yes, yes.
You
You prefer to tell, where to tell the truth.
I do. A 5-foot expansion with the tapers would extend out in front of other people's properties. At 4 feet, we would have a 28-foot wide width, which is RSI compliant, but would also have adequate tapers.
28 foot of blacktop.
Yes.
So is that 4 feet or 5?
4 foot wide.
4.
So it's 24 foot right now,
It's about 24 right
and it's a
now.
one-way street
It's a two-way street. Wouldn't be two car parking.
with parking on both sides of the street? How do you think anybody, where the school buses park?
Basically, when the new duplexes were constructed, no one parks on that side because the driveways are so tight. But it'll provide 28-foot wide.
So we have now an extra 4 feet.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, but the school's still there and it's.
How much are you giving to the school at least?
by 150.
3,000 square feet.
27.
27.
Playground or whatever the school decides.
But it's meant for recreation for kids.
Which is a big enhancement for the school.
Okay, I have a motion.
And
by
really want for that, it's
Yeah.
a big enhancement for the school. Would you, you're gonna do the at 18 feet too?
Yeah.
And sprinklers in the basement?
Sprinkles in the basement for the,
Right, did we say that?
Sprinklers in the basement,
One legal basement.
apartments in each of the houses.
That's right, that's
one
what
legal
Jackie said.
basement, apartment, and the house sprinkled.
That's done voluntarily, we're not,
Yeah.
we're not telling.
We're not doing anything.
That's right.
That's- yeah.
Sprinklers in the
That's the
basement,
inspection department.
which, the duplex?
No, it just applies.
Yeah. Okay, can I have a second, please? I'm waiting for a second motion.
I'll second.
I have a second from Albee. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Gelli?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson?
No.
Mr. Langley?
Yes.
Mr. Naftali?
I'm gonna abstain.
That's enough.
Mr. Ribbiat?
No.
Mr. No. Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson?
Yes.
The motion fails.
Motion fails, we have one
Four-
abstain.
Wait a
Variance
minute.
fails.
4 affirmative, 1 abstain, and 2 no.
Yeah, so there's only four in favor of the use variance.
And the abstain goes towards,
Well, you don't get 5 affirmative votes.
you don't get 5 affirmative votes.
Can another motion be made?
Another motion.
Yes?
Make as many as you want.
Well, we can make another motion, we have to change something in the motion? Can we make another motion? Or we'll do the motion as is, can I have another motion?
Let's try Mr. Naftali's motion. Unless the.
It doesn't have to be 100% 6,000 feet and fit perfectly, but the area should be possibly, maybe one unit can be, if you get all together and one unit can be
Make it
taken
more
out,
conforming.
give more land to the school, and be a little bit more conforming, then it's not going to be so crowded. I'm suggesting something that they can come back
We're
another
not making a
time.
motion yet.
We're not making a motion yet.
I understand.
He's taking out one door.
If you're taking a unit out, I think you can come to the planning board. You can come to the planning board with a conforming application. I'm sure just by looking at this, if you took out the single family.
Yeah, you're right.
You could put in conforming duplexes and maybe even give
Well, the-
areas of school.
The lots
Yeah,
that
you're
are
right.
here,
Yeah, you're right.
right, the lots that are there, the wide lot, you can put a duplex on, just go to the building department. The 2 50-foot wide lots, you can go to the building department. So taking out, if you take out the unit, then there's no reason to give property to the school. And you don't get a street widening, and they aren't gonna be,
We won't make history and Lakewood first require sprinklers.
correct.
Okay, now that we're
Have to
into
wait
more,
till next time.
so now that we're into more discussion, can we have another motion?
There's only one motion on the table.
Is there a motion to make a different?
No, it was a motion to make it different, but it was a planning board,
Approval.
They didn't need
us, they didn't need us for that.
Well, no, I'm not sure what you, are you?
We didn't make a new
on
motion.
the- on Mr.
There is no new motion yet on the table.
on further.
Somebody said, did you make a motion? That's what I asked.
No, somebody asked, can we make another motion? So I said, yes, let's hear another motion.
And then what happened, Jerry,
Is the motion going to be different than Mr. Gelli's motion?
I don't know yet, I'm waiting to hear.
Oh, excuse me.
I don't know yet, that's what we're waiting for. Jerry, does it have to be different?
Sorry?
Does it have to be a different motion?
Yeah. That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I'm asking you, the legal opinion. Does it have to be a different motion?
Well, if everybody's gonna vote the same way, then there's no sense doing the same motion. If somebody wanted to reconsider their motion, they could ask the board to let them reconsider.
Got it.
You got all these engineers giving legal advice, and the answer is yes. If you wanted to change your, if someone wanted to change their vote and they wanted to call for another motion, that person should make the motion.
Okay, got it. So, can I have a motion? Or if somebody wants to reconsider his vote and make a new motion, please do so. If not, we will pull it as is.
So I'm gonna reconsider my vote, I'd like to make a motion again. The reason being is I wasn't aware that we have to go to the planning board, and I would rather see the things that they're offering instead of what we'll see, the sprinklers or widening the road and the alternative. The alternative that I would have liked, expand it a little bit more and give some more space to the school. Given that we can't do that based on the fact that, you know, we got to go to the planning board, we're not gonna have all those things, I'd like to do the motion again.
So I have a motion.
Let's go through the motion again?
No, new motion.
Same motion that we said before.
Yeah, vote again, vote again.
New motion, vote again. So I have a new motion, a reconsidered motion from, the attorney, before,
Mr.
Mr.
Naftali.
Naftali. Can I have a second? Anyone second Mr. Naftali's idea, or motion? Mayor Gelli seconds it. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Gelli.
Yes.
Mr. Halverson.
No.
Mr. Langley.
Yes.
Mr. Naftali.
Yes.
What's his name? Mr. Ribbiat. Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
And Mr. Halverson.
Yes.
Okay, so now we have the five.
Now we have the five. Good night and good luck. Thank you. I will call a break when we come back. When we come back, we're gonna go to appeal number 4059, Arlington National LLC.
This one here, okay?
And we can have that creative, we don't have we don't have these problem well, look at the most of the Lakewood.
But they said that technically the fifth and eleventh are.
No, that is so, of course, they don't.
Yeah. Two were.
Someone picked up that information in the school. It'll stop. It's something that unfortunately has been approved already.
I didn't see your name very Whatever name you want.
Trump would be a good name. Trump, the Christians, the Wick, I lived in Lakewood for 30 years. That's first thing you learn technically. First thing you learn in zoning school. And then we give you advice to the lawyer. We already know who are from 3 hours with the lawyer. It's actually, you don't take
Why is it bad? Why? What is it called? Truthfully, it was over people lots, but it's the biggest one across the street. There isn't, like I said, there's a lot of places around the rest of the park. Those are two spaces. It's parked on both sides.
the reality is, that's why.
All the meetings are recorded.
It's inherently a beneficial use of the government. If they didn't, listen, if you guys didn't have the buyers, this would be an increase of $300.
The design is basically not a naturally,
of course it's important. More if you have a lot of sheep and sure. What is everybody, talk about what is everybody going to make? You said that they have to build a house. What are we supposed to do? We're just a quasi condition. That's the potential. That's what we're going by. Well, it's just, it's going to the reality, the biggest mistake that they made in the I voted a lot of properties down because of cul-de-sacs. Okay, well, you don't want to build like this, you don't want to build, we need buildings. People get in and out of the okay, the building with the cul-de-sacs, if you want to make it good, that's all fine. Okay, that's based on. Okay. It's different. So, we visit, believe me, I take pictures, I visit the sites, I try to see what's there, who's there, what they find. I'm trying to do the road, the guard, and everything else. Listen, I looked at the classic example. That used to be, think about this, when you go there, we have to take that. The builder wants to do it. Because of water street and the people park on the park. Yeah, it's all required. Yeah, because it's part of it.
If you want to get one side parking, it's your fault.
That's your job.
Or, look at the township, the other one's gonna make it. It was the only way. We don't want to put restrictions on going in and out, if people get it out.
This is more than independent. I'm sorry, more than.
We're trying to make it easy, it's not hard. We try it. We don't say
You can get your coffee.
Where do you live?
That's a chef.
Rotary, Tom Rotary. Yeah, take care for Island Heights. Jim Biggs, Tim Cagney, Gail Wayman. What? Yetman, Richard Yetman. There's two other people. Tim's around forever. Lou.
That's why you're cool. Why they own it?
Is it pretty much developed?
Yeah.
Oh, Bobby, right? You okay?
Yeah. Okay. Who's next?
Who's next?
Let's see.
Arlington National. Moving forward, appeal number 4059, Arlington National LLC.
Sir, would you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm available?
I do, Joseph Meshuga, KBA Engineering Services, Nassau, New Jersey.
Property is located in the RM multifamily residential zone. Use variance relief is requested for the proposed office use. Professional planning testimony must be provided in support of the use variance request. For review of the use variance plan, existing non-conforming conditions associated with the existing building include front yard setback, 12.99 feet existing, 25 feet required, and side yard setback, 9.99 feet existing, 12 feet required. The board should consider the need for perimeter buffer for the proposed school. We recognize that there is an existing school use at this property, per the application documents.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman. I'm Tyler Burnett, the applicant. As read to the record, the application is to convert an existing school slash church building to a school slash office facility. Mr. Schuh was already been sworn in, or asked him at the time, as someone asked us to walk us through the site, and then we'll just review that.
Certainly. The site questions 38,274 square feet in front of John Street, north side, between Route 9 and Martin Luther King Boulevard. The building dates back to the late 50s, early 60s. It expanded over the years in the 1980s. Essentially became what we see today with the parking layout. It's located in the RM zone. The surrounding area consists of a mix of multifamily, some single family, and vacant land. There's very limited opportunity for permitted uses in the zone, being residential. There's wetland on the property to the east. There's a stream that crosses under John Street. One of the residential properties directly to the west, stream is the west. One of the residential properties to the west is actually part of the school. Others indicate land for sale. It has a dilapidated structure on it. And to our east, the parking lot, and across the street is the Macedonia Senior Housing and John Street Park. We're proposing to maintain the existing school on the lower level. The school has always existed there, the Baptist school previously. And convert that to a boys' elementary school for special needs. Has a limited enrollment, about 30 students in 4 classrooms. No buses are proposed. The existing roadway is actually rather wide there. It's a 40-foot wide road and a 66-foot right-of-way. The upper area, the school doesn't need all of the space inside the building, so the upper level will be converted to offices, 4,698 square feet. And there will also be 2 conference rooms and a mezzanine area above the gymnasium. So basically, offices are located in this area, the gymnasium in this area, and a mezzanine area above that last conference room.
So I apologize, we're going to mark this A1, please just read the sheet, your writing to.
It's the site plan, 143 John Street, prepared by my office, dated February 9, 18.
That'll be A1. Thank you,
Before you continue, are you knocking any of these buildings down?
No.
Is this what you're doing on the inside?
Exactly, just a revitalization of existing building.
And again, so currently it's a church and a school.
Right.
We're going in for a school and offices. We don't need the whole building.
Offices are not permitted in the zone.
Right.
That's why we're before the board.
All right.
The, other than the use variance, the other variances are pre-existing, the minimum front yard setback and the minimum side yard setback, again.
You're right behind the parking lot of the bank.
What's that?
The bank is on River Road, which is Route 9, and then right behind the parking lot, then your building right smack that to it.
We're not changing anything.
Right.
Well, the only part is office is not permissible, and therefore you require more parking spaces?
And there's plenty of parking on the site. So the school requires 7 parking stalls, based upon the number of offices and classrooms. The office, the general office requires 18.6 parking stalls. That's a total of 25.6, called 26. We have 31 stalls on the site now. And that's with eliminating 4 existing parallel stalls, which create a circulation issue. So 31, 26 is
Give me 1
required.
second, please, 1 second, please.
How many are ADA compliant?
We don't show any ADA compliant on there. We can provide. Correct. We can. There is existing ADA compliant, but the striping was so dilapidated that it wasn't picked up in our survey. There is a handicap ramp on the back of the building, right here. So we convert this 1 stall to a handicap aisle.
We need 1.
So there will be 2 handicap stalls here and here. We're going to lose one additional stall. So we have a total of 30 stalls, 26 are required. That's the only change to the site, is some restriping to provide for 30 parking stalls. 2 of them handicap accessible.
So technically speaking, that isn't for any variances, just for the change of use?
No new variances.
There are 2 existing variances that we're asking to reapprove.
Parking.
But just the D variance, yeah. So we feel the site is particularly suited, it has a parking lot, has a building, we're not proposing any changes to the area.
This is in the R75.
This is RM.
Now it's RM.
And office spaces.
Oh, it's RM, what's it in R75?
Oh, because it's not required.
Typically, you wouldn't want an office in a residential zone with large parking areas. The large parking area exists. There are other large parking areas in the area. Office type uses are already permitted in limited amounts at home occupation, so I feel the property is particularly suited. And the smart growth plan promotes adaptive reuse of existing buildings. Through the board grant variance, the D variance under that, those criteria.
Question, wait, 1 second. If they were to throw this building down and decide to build another office building on this complex, it won't be able to, correct? It's only good as long as the building is there.
I believe that would be considered an expansion of the non-conforming use. We went back before you.
Offices are not allowed.
No. I'm saying if we were to grant this today, and they would come back in 2 years from now and they'll demolish what's there now, they want to replace an office and school.
With what?
With something brand new.
What? Office?
An office building.
An office building.
They would have to go back in for a new variance.
Okay. They want to replace it for a office and a school building.
They would have, if they tore down the, they'd have to come back for new variance too.
For a new variance approval. Period. It's only good because this existing structure is there. Once the existing structure disappears, they have to start all over again.
That's
It
correct.
reverts back to the regular RM zone.
That's correct.
Okay, we're not changing the zone on this piece, that will be like this forever.
There was a question in,
Right,
in the record report about certain sizes.
that was my question.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
if I can go through the Remington Vernon review, one of the questions raised was, indicating there's no sidewalk. There is sidewalk across the whole frontage of this site. I believe they were looking at the sites further down to the, west.
Okay.
We have curved sidewalk across the whole frontage.
Okay.
Site circulation will operate as it does now. Trash pickup will operate as it does now. Cans are stored in the rear, brought out to the curb. We're
But
not
it
requesting.
becomes an office building, so that's not privy to public sanitation? Oh, school?
School, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And these are the amount of garbage that would be created from the office upstairs. It's not that many.
Minimal.
Is that a substantial amount of office? And we are providing ADA parking, so I believe that addresses all of the concerns in Remington Vernon.
It was sort of, about hours of use, normal office hours in the school, we also,
Yeah, as long as we have enough parking, or even if it overlaps. Okay, the scene, can I open to the public 4059? Anyone who probably want to be heard, please step up.
Please raise your right hand.
Hey, President, I have a small question. In this street, Adler Street over there, what is that? Paper Street?
I believe so.
And this is on the edge of the property, and you didn't ask for a waiver of that? Was that called out by the engineer?
I'm not proposing any changes to the site other than restriping.
Oh, so it's not needed. That's a good one. No sprinklers needed? It's not. And what happens to the church in this building?
That have a smatters.
Church goes away. Changing chapters tonight. We're eliminating the church.
Correct.
Changing the flag. Lavanga Techol is going up.
Wow, look at that control. Wow.
Mr. Schuster, you're proposing no curb and sidewalk.
Lavanga Techol is going up.
No, we're not proposing any new curb and sidewalk.
We close to the public?
Yes, close to the public. Can I have a motion of final comments?
I have a question. What prevents, this whole building from being used as a office building now?
You have to come back to the board right now.
Besides that.
Right?
It's an important.
Physically, this classrooms that can be turned into offices up, downstairs, back.
Right now.
We have offices.
Let's start with the important. We're only going to have right now the upstairs 4,000 square foot, space. That's all we're asking for to be involved. We're asking how do we prevent it from renting it out the entire building? There's only 30-something parking spaces total. It's.
It won't be monetarily feasible. That's usually the only thing that prevents it.
Self-enforcement.
Well,
Just made the effort, they didn't change it on their own, they made the effort, we're here
Right,
before you.
it's on the record now, he said the upstairs is up, only the upstairs. Is gonna be used.
What is that, the 4,000 square feet, that's what we showed the plan, that's what we're coming in for.
How many square feet is that upstairs? 4,000?
4,000. 4,698.
And that'll be office.
That's office.
And not church at all, so it will be taxed like a regular office building?
Well, the school,
Portion of the school is non-taxable, but the office is taxable.
Okay, I'm done, sir.
that's what
Rateables.
I know, Mr. Don.
You
Are you
say
saying
rateables, then we talk about that.
That's it. Okay, can I have a motion, please?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion for motion, line 3 second, please.
I'll second.
Second for Mayor Gelli, secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Gilli?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson?
Yes.
Mr. Lakewood?
Yes.
Mr. Naftali?
Yes.
Mr. Rivier's not here. Mr. Inger?
Yes. You have to make the announcement.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson?
Yes. I just forgot to make an announcement when we came back from the break that the Moshe Burr has been replaced with Mr. Ribiak, who left early tonight.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next.
4067 Dubin, 25 Birch Street.
located in the R10 single-family residential zone. Single-family detached housing is permitted in the zone. Existing non-conforming conditions include lot area, lot width. New bulk variance relief is necessary as follows: side yard setback, aggregate side yard setback, and building coverage.
Don't mind you raise your right hand, do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth?
I do, glad lines, professional engineer, planner, we're proposing to remove an existing small single-family house from the 7,500 square foot lot. We're requesting variances for side yard setbacks, both 10 required, we're requesting 7.5. And requesting a lot coverage variance of 32% where 30 the maximum permitted. Basically, it's a R7.5 lot, R10 zone. We're not going over what would be the R7.5 setbacks or lot coverage. Providing 4 parking spaces. There are several homes in the area. We indicate on the tax map, the lots that are yellow. There's 13 of them so far that have come in, either from this board or the zoning board, the planning board, and requested similar variances.
Okay.
That's basically
This is on Birch Street on the other side of Henry, right? On the other side of 9.
on the other side of the
On the other side of 9.
Open to the public.
To the check?
No, what is the building here? Single family house?
Two families?
single family.
One
Single family with one apartment in the basement. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
How far the front setback?
We're proposing, on the plan, we show 41 feet where 30 is required. So
You're showing how much?
we're showing 41 feet. That allows us to get, 4 parking spaces in the front yard.
41 feet with 30 required.
Right.
So basically,
Pretty standard for that neighborhood, right?
Yes. If you drive down,
It's
if you
the
drive
same-
down that neighborhood, you see a lot of old houses, and you see a lot of new houses that are
Exactly
going
the
to
same.
look just like this
the
one.
front setback is the same as the other new houses?
They vary between probably 40 feet, 40 feet, 45, depending on the way that people want to lay out the front of their home and their stairs, that type of thing.
Is the next door owner 31 Birch is next door?
Yes, I believe it is.
So we have a problem then, 2 other size lots?
Well, is the lot next door vacant?
No.
No.
There's a home, there's a house
Right
on
over
this
the-
lot now?
It's a home on, there's a house on each lot.
All right, let's talk about this one. What's the setback now on the house on this lot? About?
I'd say probably 20, 25 feet.
And how about the sidelines? Sidelines,
Let me show the side. The sides are probably, maybe 10.
so this house would lessen those existing variance issues.
Correct, we're requesting the variance.
Yeah.
But it's an older,
I understand.
probably 1,000 square foot home.
Right. I understand, so this proposal would make those variances less, if you get less intense.
No,
I'm sorry?
no, we're going from 10-foot side yards to 7.5.
How about the front setback?
Front, we're greatly increasing our setback.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Okay, all right. How about the building coverage? That's now the 30 square feet, 30%, and it's going to go to 30.
Correct.
Jerry, just a quick legal question. The house next door this house is on the Chaim Dubin, the house next door is on the Chaim Esti Dubin. Is that considered 2 separate owners?
I don't know. Is it a different owner on the lot next?
One is a husband and wife, and one is just a husband.
One's owned by Mr. Dubin, and the lot next door where they currently live is owned by Mr. Dubin and his son.
Yeah, but they didn't create the undersized lots.
Yeah, but sometimes if you have the same landlord, the same owner.
Hold on a second, now let's just find out, how long has Mr. Newman owned this? Is this Mr. Newman?
Why don't we let him?
Brian Dugan.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth?
I affirm.
Okay.
I bought this lot in January.
Of what year? Just now?
Yeah.
And how long have you and your wife owned that house next door?
I believe since 2002 or 2003.
You have a house on the proposed lot, you have a house there now, right?
There's an existing house there. Yeah.
Okay, that's all. Legally, it's not a problem, right?
You're correct.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure.
So,
Okay. No, it's not, that's not important. It's not, okay, good. Let's go ahead. As long as it's not, we're moving forward. Okay. So I want to make sure that we don't have a legal issue here. Okay, I'd like to open to the public, appeal number 4067, anyone in the public please step up?
Mine, you have swear or affirm to tell the whole truth?
I affirm. Is there any duplexes on this lot?
Did you say?
The question.
I do not, I didn't check for duplexes on this.
I should ask after Mr. Dugan testifies or to cross-examine it, I'll ask him if there's any duplexes on the lot. No.
On this, are you saying on this property?
On this block, in Birch.
Lot.
What? If there's any duplexes on this R10, you could technically make duplexes. Yes, so technically the applicant could have gone and bought up a few lots and put in.
Like the last one.
Like the last one.
It's Cavalo's amount.
I have 4 minutes, I'm sorry.
Let him finish.
4 minutes.
It's quicker if we let him finish. I'm only gonna call it.
So he could have gone and put in duplexes, and then we would have had a basement problem, that it would have been, the basement would have had sprinklers, not had sprinklers, and now he's going in and putting a single family. We don't have an issue with sprinklers on a single family to put in a legal rentable basement. I would question, is there an attic over here? Are you putting in an attic? I don't know if you have to live in the architecturals on a single family, no. So you don't have to answer me that, but if you do have the architecturals, you can answer. Is that an attic? But it won't be another apartment over there.
Small.
Okay, thank you very much. It's 4 minutes?
No.
Thank you.
Says no. Close to the public. Can I have a motion or a final comment?
Ask some questions? I have a question.
Yes, go ahead.
Jerry?
Yes.
The fact that they're tearing down a house and going to build a new house, but the pre-existing variance of the difference between the required 10,000 square feet versus 75 holds, stays?
No, it doesn't hold, there's a pre-existing variance that really can't be changed. No.
So if they're tearing the house down,
We need a variance of 75 foot width, 7,500 square foot, and then 50 foot wide. I think it's 50 foot wide lot.
I had a question about the architectural. Usually we ask that the stairs don't go all the way up to the attic, but here it looks like it does. Since I'm replacing Judah, I think it would be,
On the doors, gotta get on the door.
So there's a side basement door that you can really split the basement, I mean, if we wanna get technical, and the same set of stairs goes up to the attic, so I don't know, I just wanna.
So we have to terminate the sensitivity, the
No
second floor.
outside stairs to the attic.
Right, so the second set of stairs to the attic should be in a different place.
Yes, should be terminated.
Inside.
Yeah. And for the engineer, if you could just go on the record, that is the end user gonna utilize any of the basement themselves or the entire basement will be an apartment?
We don't know who the end user is.
All right.
So I can't
So
answer
you're
the
gonna be
question.
building. Well, the reason why I'm asking is a lot of times they say that half the basement belongs to the people upstairs, and that eventually gets converted to an apartment. So, there's gonna be just one apartment.
We're proposing one apartment.
In the basement. Correct. Okay, and then the steps, from the second to the third floor should be relocated.
Only,
Terminated on the
no
second floor.
outside stairs.
Correct, no outside stairs to the end.
Okay?
Okay,
Motion
good.
with those conditions?
Motion? Second. Mayor Moshe Langkry has motion number one, and Mayor Gelli, seconds it. Madam Secretary, roll call, please. Madam Secretary?
Mr. Gilli?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson?
Yes.
Mr. Langley?
Yes.
Mr. Naftali?
Yes.
Mr. Ingber? Mr. Ingber?
Mr. Ingber?
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson?
Yes. Good night and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on forward, appeal number 4069, Yehuda Franco. Madam Secretary?
The applicant applied for and obtained major subdivision approval, SD 2118, to construct 6 fee simple duplexes, including the 4 lots in question. The applicant requires and has applied for conditional use variance approval from the zoning board to develop duplex units within 200 feet of the Route 9 right-of-way. Property is located at 1364 River Avenue, all properties will be assessed from a cul-de-sac, Blueberry Courts.
Good evening, Joe Kashuba, KDA Engineering Services, 91 New Jersey. I do. This is kind of
Okay,
unique.
one second, please. I was just notified that LB had to recuse himself from this application. Okay? Okay, please.
Only, you understand, there's only 6 people now voting on this.
Yep, understood. So this application was approved by the planning board in May of 2016. It's in the HD7 zone. Previous approval before that for townhouses that were 120 feet off of River Avenue. Oriented with the location. Advanced Auto Parts is directly to the south. The DOT garage is behind us to the west. Siegel Square is to the north. And further north, you have Charming Way, which has residential 120 feet off Route 9, and then the 2 Walnut Streets that are both 120 feet off Route 9. Duplex development is not permitted within 200 feet of Route 9. We had an ordinance change several years ago. It wasn't identified at the time of the application. We had a previous approval on that as well. So as a result, it was picked up and we were filing a map that use variance is needed for these 2 duplexes. I highlighted them here. You can mark this as A1, the copy of the layout plan. Last revised December 19th of 2017. What I've highlighted are the units in question that are within 200 feet of Route 9. It's not a true use variance. It's under 4055D 73 deviation from a specification or standard pursuant to conditional use. So what you look to is the Coventry Square standard. The township has determined that the use is appropriate under certain conditions. Failure to meet those is a D variance. And the courts have established that the enhanced quality proofs established by the DG don't apply in D3. What that means is we're not questioning whether residential is permitted in the zone. The town has already determined that residential is appropriate. What we're looking at is the actual deviation that the town is looking for residential to be 200 feet off the road. We're proposing 143 on the north side of the property, 146 on the south. Now the purpose of the subdivision, we created 12 duplex units. We maintain 1 existing commercial unit on the north side of the proposed road, Blueberry Court, and are proposing a site plan, and I got the site plan approval for a commercial property on the south side of Blueberry Court. We propose, again, 143 feet. This provides a more substantial neighborhood fabric, and having 12 units rather than 8 provides more housing opportunities as identified in the master plan. The impact of the deviation upon the zoning plan and zoning ordinance is minimal. The proposal achieves the intent of providing commercial uses on Route 9 and providing residential a substantial distance from Route 9 to the rear of the commercial. The impact of the deviation upon the public good, i.e. the neighborhood impact, is also very limited. Previously, the requirement was, like I said, 100 feet setback, 100 feet plus your setback is what used to be required in the HB7 zone. There are numerous projects fronting on Route 9 that meet that requirement and are 120 feet off of Route 9. Specifically, like I said, Charming Way toward closest to our north, and then two more streets, Walnut Street and the other Walnut Street, it's a U above that. This project cannot have any substantial detrimental impact upon the public good, as the condition exists just north of here at multiple developments. In this case, there exists the benefit of the commercial use, meets the intent of the ordinance. It's creating that transitional zoning sought by the ordinance, that commercial out on Route 9 and the residential pushed back behind. And as such, it's my professional opinion that a D3 variance can be granted. The deviation will not have any substantial impact upon the zone plan and zoning ordinance, and the deviation will not have a substantial impact upon the public good. And I reiterate from the beginning, this was essentially a mistake. We got site plan approval years ago. There was a previous site plan approval for very similar, with residential even closer to Route 9, and I think it was just overlooked in the process.
So basically, what you're here for tonight is strictly for the 200-foot area for the two buildings?
To allow these two
buildings being in the 200-foot side, in the 200-foot commercial part of Route 9?
Correct.
That's all. Okay, does everyone understand that?
Yeah, just a question. You mentioned up north, there's already something similar up north?
Charming Way is a subdivision that was built just north of here.
Also duplexes within 200 feet?
That's
When was it built?
that's within 200, actually it's probably close to 200, 250 feet north of here. Those units are about 120 feet off.
How long was that built?
I would say it was built 2010, 2000.
And when did this ordinance go into effect of the 200 feet?
I don't know the exact date.
Has building permits been?
My understanding is that those would have been before that ordinance. My point
Okay,
is that
that's what I'm gonna make sure, that it was before the ordinance
out of
was
character
issued.
of the neighborhood.
Okay, but it was before the ordinance.
I would think so, yeah.
Has building permits been issued for the two duplex lots?
No.
Building started?
No, there was a agreement with the town that we are not permitted to seek any building permits for these until we obtain these.
Well, the building permit issued for the back ones yet? Was that on the
I don't believe any building permits have been issued yet.
Okay. So it's basically a simple variance of, do you want to see residential units in a 200-foot commercial zone? Even though, that's all it is. The planning board gave them the approval to put it up, so it neglected, and.
How did it get neglected? How did it get missed?
2016, I don't know.
We originally had, and I have a copy, an old copy of the plan, prepared by R.C. Associates. We originally had a townhouse.
Ray Carpenter Associates.
Was that?
Was that Ray Carpenter?
That was Ray Carpenter Associates.
There's your answer, why it was neglected.
Well, this is the previous rule, when before the ordinance, where it had residential 120 feet on. So I think when we amended it.
So that must have been, what, 2 years ago?
This,
Yeah.
no, this was, the approval was probably around 06 or 07.
One second, did this application come to us at one point for an approval?
The townhouses and the buses were gonna stop in the garage during off hours to pick up the kids, and then the garage is gonna open, the buses are gonna continue picking up, dropping the kids during the night hours, right?
Yeah,
Right, I remember that. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you have to come back to us for the 200 feet in a commercial, you want a variance. Has anybody broken that variance after that?
Yes, we've gotten,
Someone has broken that variance?
I did the.
Someone has requested that variance, yeah?
I got an approval from this board on Henry Street for residential 200 feet. On the corner.
Is that part of the commercial part of the drive? I don't think so.
It's in the HG7 zone.
Yeah? Henry Street or where? Yeah, the only one finished, but that was up already. That was also neglected and that was up. And we just let them finish it. What? No, the building was up.
They issued building permits.
They'll be issued permits and everything else.
The ones on the corner of Henry were about.
Other than those special circumstances, anybody else?
What's that?
Other than that special circumstance, I don't think anybody else has gotten a variance. I don't think so. I don't want to be the first one to break.
Also on, Butel, I believe there was,
Residential.
Well, you tell it's a residential neighborhood.
Okay, it's open to the public.
You're taking commercial space, turning it into
Residential.
residential. You tell it's
We're
residential.
also providing the commercial space. This building exists.
Yeah, but you're not providing full commercial.
How many parking spaces in this other building? Could you, on that building that you have there, that you got approved by the planning board, how many parking spaces in that?
That had 26 parking stalls.
26 parking stalls?
Okay, can we just open it to the
Substantial
public?
lots at the front.
What?
There are substantial commercial lots at the front.
Can we just open to the public? Anyone in the public want to be heard on appeal number 4069?
Fine, please raise your right hand. Do you affirm that there will
I drive down Route 9 south. I said, did you say yes? I'll say
I hear you
yes.
say yes, but that's fine.
Half of the place looks like a dump, and the other half looks nice. I was looking into it, and it looks like whatever was approved by the zoning board doesn't look good. You drive down the residential properties, it's right up to Route 9, I don't know. I live in a place where a Marsh Weissman went for approval to the planning board. It has a nice, huge buffer over there, looks beautiful. The same thing you can go in, Stone Project is approved by the zoning, planning board. And then you have the front of Sterling Place was approved by the zoning board. Again, looks like a mess. Go down Route 9, look at all the places. The zoning board applications, the residential looks like a mess, and the residential looks like, now I have, and from the zoning board, it looks like a mess, and the planning board looks nicer. Now, I have one question, not finishing it. I have one question is there any crosswalks over here? I know this, I have a problem with crosswalks. Usually, it's overlooked. When you come to applications, you don't see any crosswalks. There's a lot of marked crosswalks. Sorry, not crosswalks, marked crosswalks. You have over here this part is not marked, this part is not marked, this part is not marked. There's going to be kids over there. People are walking down Route 9, and how do you give an application without marked crosswalks?
The intersection across here is governed by DOT, so we meet DOT standard and submit to them, get multiple comments back. If the board saw fit, we could certainly provide crosswalks across the other, but there are concrete aprons there which kind of delineate a walkway as opposed to going across a bituminous driveway.
What do you mean, you're not able to walk on the sidewalk from here to here?
I'm saying the sidewalk continues across. It's not paved, it's sidewalk all the way across.
Oh, it's going to be sidewalk, so but technically you could mark it.
You could, but the problem is with the concrete, when you mark it with the white striping, you don't really see it.
The only problem is when a kid crosses that, it's much more safer if it's marked. That's all I'm saying. It's going to be a residential over there. Now, the fact that you're saying it's on Route 9, you don't know if you could mark it. We did a lot of applications by the planning board. Different engineers, different applicants coming in, and they're all required to put in crosswalks on River Avenue from sidewalk to sidewalk. There's no reason why this application should get special treatment. So I would say is make the approval subject to put in over there the crosswalks, that the DOT makes you a problem, come back. And I doubt the DOT, like I said, with sidewalks issues and all the other issues, I doubt the DOT is not going to consider putting in a Lakewood for safety of our children, like marked in a crosswalk. So again, I think in the future you should put in marked crosswalks and deal with the DOT later.
Mr. Klein, I have a question for you.
Yes, wow, being cross-examined.
Yes, you you just said that when you drive down Route 9, all the zoning board applications look like a dump, and all the planning board looks like Taj Mahal, beautiful and gorgeous.
Couldn't say that, but yeah.
So, are you recommending that we don't approve this application, so it should stay looking like nice and gorgeous?
No, I just wanted to make my point.
Oh, I thought that's what you're recommending, that we shouldn't, so it should look
No, I
nice.
didn't say that.
So we should rectify our position and make good on it.
I just think is that.
Okay.
No problem.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Halverson, don't be insulted. He says that to all the boards.
I'm not insulted. I just want to know what his position is. He's trying to hint to me that we should deny the application, that's all. Okay. Close to the public, can I have a motion?
Make a motion. I have some questions.
One second.
I have some questions still. I'll let Rabbi Naftali go first.
Just how far is it from Route 9?
143 feet to the property line. Route 9 is probably another 6 or 7 feet from the curb. About 150 feet from the curb to the end of the property line.
But the curb is part of the township property. It's
Part of the state property.
Part of the state property.
Is there, is there still some sort of auto repair shop there?
The building is still there, yes.
And it's gonna be an auto repair shop?
They would have to do a transfer permit for any of the permitted use.
What?
They would do a transfer
The
permit.
plan says some sort of auto repair or?
That's what it was before, and the
Okay,
intent is
so-
to keep that for now.
I remember when this came, when this project came overall, I had a problem with it. If you guys remember, that the auto repair shop and kids playing in the backyard, I just don't see how.
I'm being told that that building is now a clothing store.
It's a clothing store? Okay. Are you willing to abandon the auto repair use?
Or you know,
The auto repair is
It doesn't
abandoned.
have to be abandoned.
No, but it's abandoned right now.
He's willing to propose to abandon the auto repair use, is that correct?
Yes. Okay.
auto repair.
Auto repair.
Or anything auto related?
Right.
Anything auto related?
Anything auto related?
Yeah, no, we would have a concern with that, like an auto parts store, like retail.
Auto parts store, anything, well, retail, auto parts like a auto zone type of thing. If there's oils or flammable gases,
We're saying that
or
those
dangerous
things
materials.
wouldn't have an impact upon, pedestrians and that. I could see an auto repair shop having a concern.
I'm saying anything that has, industrial type uses, those torches or, gasoline or anything like that. If he's doing retail, packaged, auto parts, that's a retail type item, I don't have a problem with that. The next problem I have is how do we break that variance, it's a 200-foot buffer from Route 9, it's supposed to be commercial, right? And you're giving 150 approximately, right? 140. 140. I have to evaluate that, I'm not sold on it.
Okay, we're up to a motion. Anyone wants to give a motion?
I'd like to make a motion to deny this application based on the fact that you need 200 feet from the Route 9.
Okay.
I second.
I have a motion from, Mayor Gelli to deny, and a second from Hal Howison to deny this application, because to stay within 200 feet for commercial on the HD7 zone. Madam Secretary, roll call please. Roll call, just remember, yes means you're approving the denial.
Mr. Gelli.
Yes.
Mr. Halverson.
Yes.
Mr. Langley.
I abstain.
Mr. Natale.
Yes.
Mr. Ingram.
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez.
He didn't vote.
He didn't vote.
He's not here.
He's off.
Okay, he's not there. Mr. Halverson.
Well, doesn't make a difference, the answer is yes anyway.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yes. 5
Motion
yes
goes down,
to
motion
deny.
denied.
Respectfully, if I could have an offer to the board.
Motion approved.
Motion, yeah.
Motion to deny is
The
approved.
offer to the board, obviously, this is a proposed site, we are proposing a new structure. So if we could amend our application, if the board could see fit, we would meet the requirement here on the left side and just look with this particular duplex behind, this is an existing building staying, we're not changing any pavement, not affecting the property at all. So we would like to, this is essentially going to be dead space behind the existing building. So we'd like to maintain this duplex, but we would give up this duplex to make that commercial. If the board thought that would, be sufficient in order to justify the application.
But that would be approaching
that
200 feet.
The one unit would be approaching the 200 feet, but it's an existing condition.
Is there a building in front of that now?
Yes.
No, not.
It's an abandoned building in front.
This is a new application. You
Yes.
want to come with a new idea. So go home, redo it, make a new application, come back. We heard one application, we got denied, that's it, let's move on.
Okay.
You know, it's fair.
Okay.
Just trying to save the board some time by offering it quickly. We'll come back with a new
You
application.
guys want to reconsider something, or you guys want to go forward? Terry, I think, what do you agree with Mr. Gelli?
I have a problem with the existing building. The new building, is, to me, it's less of a safety issue.
Okay.
But it
so
really doesn't make matter, it really, that 200-foot buffer is what's going on.
It's what it is, it is what it is. Okay, thank you.
You help the application by taking out the auto, it helped it. but also-
Let's move on. We're gonna go into, 4070 Pinnacle Lipschitz.
Mr. Chair, step down on this.
Okay, please do.
The applicant of lot 13, block 12.03 is Pinterest Lincoln. The applicant is seeking approval for side yard setback relief.
Just for the record.
Currently under construction.
Just for the record, Mr. Gelli has stepped down from this application.
For aerial mapping of the area, existing development surrounding the property appears to be primarily single-family residential in nature. Property is located in R12, single-family residential zone. New bulk variance relief is necessary as follows. Side yard setback, east side 7.4 feet proposed, 10 feet required. Aggregate side yard setback 24.3 feet proposed, 25 required.
Are you, so let's raise your hand, do you swear or affirm to tell the whole truth you know?
Yes, I do. Charles Sermon appearing on behalf of my client, Mr. Lipschutz.
Are you an attorney, sir?
No, I'm just an engineer.
Okay, give me your name and spell your last name.
Sermon, Charles. S is in Sam, U-R-M-O-N-T-E.
Thank you.
The subject property,
Can I ask you, Charles, can I ask you to please lift that up on top there? Thank you. Just put it up, yeah. I know it's on your easel. I'm sure Brian Klein will let you use it. Okay. It's on my.
I'm here at a bit of a weakened moment, but we have a situation with a house under construction at this property.
Can I interrupt you for 1 second?
Sure.
My fellow colleague, it just asked me if you ever appeared before the board, and not really, I have to hear your qualifications.
I have, but I'd be happy to share my qualifications.
Please. Please.
I am a licensed professional engineer and licensed land surveyor, have been since 1994. I have appeared before this board numerous times. I appear before the planning board regularly, and I've appeared before probably 24 boards in Monmouth and Ocean County.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
We have a situation here where we recently discovered that due to a layout error, we've got a house that violates side yard setback. The house was approved last summer to be constructed. Construction was initiated in October. When we came to stake out the curbing in February, we realized that there was a problem with the survey control. We relocated the foundation of the house and realized that the house had been set in an incorrect location.
I see the house is kind of crooked.
It's a little bit crooked, it's a little bit shifted to the left. So what happened was the back left corner is the most affected corner, and that setback is 7.4 feet. As a result of the rotation, the front right corner being in a setback of 16.9 feet also creates a situation where the combined setback is only 24.2 feet. Now the building itself is of a width that overall maintains the average setback of 10 and 25 total. But I'm here to seek relief for those two setback deficiencies.
From what I understand, this house is up already.
It is.
It is? It is.
Yes.
How did you get this far in the house when we noticed it's back? Did we have to do an as-built? When the
We did an as-built, but at the time we didn't realize that our control point was in error. We didn't
So
realize.
you worked off a wrong control point. And therefore the house ended up becoming a little bit on an angle.
And the problem with an error that's relatively minor, I mean, it's obvious on paper. If it was a little bit of a larger error, it would likely have been noticeable in the field and we would have caught it earlier. We didn't catch it until about a month and a half ago when we realized that the curbing was coming off this
So your as-built says the proper setbacks.
It does, but the as-built turned out to be.
You're certified as-built.
I'm sorry?
You're certified as-built.
Yes, yes.
And now we have a problem. So who caught it then? How did somebody catch it?
We caught it when we were staking out the curb, and the curb was coming out misaligned.
And
So then we went back and checked everything and realized that's when we noticed the error.
So technically, I can tell you to throw the house down, right?
You could. I mean, we've been doing this, we probably do 100 houses a year. We've been doing them for 15 years, and this is the first time this has happened.
Mistakes happen. Always bound for mistake, right?
I'm sorry?
I said, you're always bound for a mistake. We'll forgive you once. Okay, anyone from the public have anything to say on this? Please step up.
Sir, would you raise your right hand? You affirm to tell the whole truth. Can you give us the full name and spell your last?
David Marder, M-A-R-D-E-R, resident of 118 Shady Lane Drive.
M-A-R?
D-E-R.
D-E-R.
M-A-R-D-E-R.
What was your address, sir?
118 Shady Lane Drive.
Where is that address affected? This
It's right next door.
It's right next door.
You're the one affected?
Yes, I'm the one that's within 7.5, 7.
Okay.
Whatever it is.
You're the one that's affected by 2.5 feet.
Yeah, and it's all very close to me. Back in September, I believe, when they started chopping down trees, originally we had a beautiful my backyard, it was all trees, it was all forest there. They started chopping down trees, so we lost our beautiful view. It's their backyard, so happens to be, we noticed that they did knock down 1 or 2 trees on our property. We noticed it was very close. I got the plans from the township, we took it to, I believe, Nicole Morgan to look it over and to verify. She said that on paper, everything looks good, it's within 10 feet, has 25 feet in both sides, and everything's good. And so there was never any application for a variation for us to show up and say it's very close to our house, and it was within the rules, so everything was good. However, their windows are basically directly adjacent to our windows, which is a large privacy issue. And with this, every foot does count. However, and it's a quality of life, et cetera, et cetera. However, being that it's already up, mistakes happen, I understand. I actually reached out to, another thing, I only received the variation notice today.
Variance notice.
The variance notice today. I had heard about another name, but I received it last Monday or Tuesday. I don't know how far in advance it has to be, well, but it's short notice. However, I reached out to Mr. Lipschitz last night. He was very kind in responding, he was very mental, he was very straight about it, and he told me that he's not really so involved with all the minor details. He feels terrible, and being that's a mistake, I would not say that they should have to knock it down and rebuild. However, I would request that because of the privacy issue and it is towering over my house, and it could lead to a loss of value of the house because it makes my house look smaller. It would anyway, but every foot would make a difference over here. I would request if you're able to I don't know what the right word is, but to make them put up privacy bushes, at least 8 feet, that look nice and presentable along our property line from the road to the end of the property line. So it would avoid the privacy issue, and it would also sort of separate, make clear boundaries of the property.
Question. Your house.
Yes.
Is your wall, that side of the house, how far is it away from your property line?
Closest point is I believe 13.5 feet.
Okay.
However, if you come to my house, into my kitchen and the kitchenette eating room, you feel like you're right there.
I understand. I just want to know. So you're
I believe the closest point is 13.5 feet.
When you say the closest point, is it your house as well on an angle, or is that because
The house
it's shot
is
out?
at an angle.
The house on an angle. Okay.
Yeah.
So a portion of your back of your house, the center of your house is 13.5 feet.
The corner of my house, which juts out.
Okay.
His
So
house would be
the
13.
corner of the house in the back?
The back, I didn't measure from there.
Okay, so the front corner of the house. So then your house angles left, which furthers away from the property line. Is that what you're telling me? The corner of the front of the house is 13.5.
You lot 3 or you lot 4?
Right.
You're on the curve, right?
He's on the curve, yeah.
You're on the curve.
What about 3?
Okay, so
The nearest back corner.
the back corner is at 13.5 or the front?
His back right corner, his back corner is about where my finger is. And
His, one second, his back,
goes more in that direction.
My front is with the road, is the line is the front curve, however, through the zoning, however, the original way back when, in the back, that's my angle.
So the house angles out further out to the front, away from the house. So you don't know how far back that angle starts and how far the width is away from the house to the front. Is that 20 feet, 30 feet? You have no idea. Okay.
Excuse me, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah.
Mail March 30th, which is the 10th day.
Yeah, probably wasn't in yet.
Because I was young, but I found out that neighbors that told me that they were, they only got on Tuesday.
But they notified on the 30th, March 30th.
I was just notifying that I was
Yeah.
today, and I knew to see what I'm going to do with it, just, I don't know if so.
It goes by when they send it.
It's gone, they sent it out on March
I
30th.
don't know, I just.
I'm telling you, I'm
Yeah.
showing you.
Okay.
Francine,
Okay.
the problem with
So-
that is it goes to when they send it from the post office, not when the
But
people.
that's the date. it
That is
comes
the
to
day,
us.
10 days
Okay.
before.
All right.
Right.
It doesn't help them when the people get it, they can get it that month later. Did you say the bedroom windows are an issue, just the,
What is it? Kitchen windows, bedroom windows? What do you have where you want the 8 feet? What is on that side?
It's kitchen and a living area, and we have a couch there, it's like a.
Okay.
no bedroom windows are affected?
The bedroom windows are, but they're at the further end, so they are also, but it's much bigger. So this-
What windows are on this side? What do you have on the second floor? Those are bedrooms?
You have the topo for that area? Charles, you have the topo for that whole area?
Yes.
Okay. Did you discuss this tree issue with Vinnie? Vinnie Lippers? The trees, did you want trees there? Did you mention it to him?
So I mentioned, I spoke with him today, this morning he says he doesn't want to commit to anything. I spoke to him later today, it sounded like he would also want privacy bushes and he would be around with it.
Okay, but it's all hearsay.
Are any,
I mean,
my question is, are any,
What are those windows?
I don't have the first floor, but I don't have, you should have it.
do you have any
We all
bedroom
want first
windows
floor.
affected by this issue?
We want the first
My
floor.
question is,
Second floor.
if we were to, if we were being to move, not knock down this building, would we want to put taller trees to help with the second floor?
I don't have to go around.
No, right, okay. So,
Back to the house.
so bushes along the side of the house
6
would be
feet.
enough to give you privacy?
Alongside the fence, the bushes on this side, that he will take care of.
That would be enough?
Shouldn't just be a fence that's like, I look out of the wall.
I understand. You want, privacy?
Privacy bushes.
What do they call those?
My problem is not the bushes, the trees going in there. My problem is that we're talking about 8 feet, that's a very expensive project, and
8 feet of what?
of trees. And if Kenny isn't here, hear his side of the story,
There's no side of the story.
you know?
There's no side to here. It's knock the building down or put up the bushes.
All right, that's what you guys wanna do, go right ahead, you
I have
know?
a question.
I was gonna say 6 feet.
As far as putting up, planning or providing, we can have it on, which lot you looking to put it on?
We won't make the room so that they're planted on our lot.
Okay. That's
So
my
that's
question.
yes, that'd be on your side and then you would be against.
1 minute, please, are you finished?
Yeah.
Somebody just wants to speak, I know you just walked up.
Yeah, no, just one.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yes, sir, would you raise your right hand, you affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
Give us your full name and spell your last.
Israel Fink, F-I-N-K.
Okay.
Okay, your relationship here, anything?
I work for the builder, building the house.
Okay,
I just texted in and said that we'll put whatever was for the house.
okay, fine, not a problem. I'll do whatever it takes. Okay. Okay, fine. Anyone else in the public wants to be heard? Oh. The moment to close. 4 minutes. 4 minutes. I have an hour.
Not bad. Take this for the bushes. That's 2 times tonight. But yeah, and if a guy asked for bushes, and the guy made a mistake, and he's coming for the board, if he would have come to begin with to the board, the guy would have had a full right to ask. I think it's a normal request. As far as I'm just trying to understand, how is that the township inspection department doesn't realize these mistakes? That you had to go out to it?
Oh, it's my job to report to the township.
So technically, you could have finished the house, the township would have never realized, you would have gotten the CFO, and everybody would have been happy, nobody would have noticed.
That is
I'm
true.
just.
That is true, yeah.
The as-built was right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes,
I believe standard fences was 6 feet.
standard was 6 feet.
Yes,
You said 8. You said 8. We're done. We're done. We're looking over it. Thank you. Okay.
Mr. Chair, if I can say something?
Yes, go ahead.
I don't think it's necessary to require a homeowner to put bushes more than only opposite where the home is. It's a huge lot.
No, we want the whole left.
I don't think it's necessary. I mean, there's only 50 feet out of 250 feet where it's opposite his home. Just
So
the
then go to
whole
the-
section of the house just juts out only 51 feet. That's where the privacy issue comes in.
So you want to go from the beginning of the lot to the end of the house?
No, I wouldn't have an issue if he only put in trees opposite the house, where the house, in other words, the whole house juts out to the left, and it's over the 10-foot lot line, 51 feet.
Yeah, but it's gotta look right. You can't just put a few trees in. It's gotta look
Oh,
something.
but that's, I'm sure the homeowner will agree to do maybe more, but also, if we go all the way to the front of the house, it could be an issue with cars, it's around the curve, I don't want to be able to block.
That's true. That's a good thought.
You know.
If it's around the curve, you
People
have to
backing
be
out,
on.
and they're not gonna be able
Yeah.
to see oncoming traffic, so it shouldn't start too much.
In the front.
It should line up from the front of the house, and then maybe go
Come from
from
where?
there. Yeah, but just so we're clear, so the neighbor don't think that he was gonna have no more than he had to.
Come here. I understand.
In other words, it should definitely, here it should be. That's
Right,
where
but
the
it
house-
has to look right, not just be a
We don't
tree.
want to get
So
too close to the front.
we don't want to get too close to the front, so these cars coming out of this driveway should see traffic coming out right from this driveway. Start from here, from the 35-foot 6 line, all the way up.
You can't. 20-foot setback line.
All the way up.
Whatever the engineer recommends.
Yeah, because
Anyway,
here
you
it's
can't
a
put no
driveway.
line.
So
No
that's-
side, you know.
That's exactly, he's not putting a line of sight. He's putting, whatever, as soon as line of sight is out.
Yeah. We already almost put Jerry on this, and we're gonna put that clear on this.
I'm not sure what the board is, are you saying along?
We should
the
start,
house?
we should start with those high trees, we should start, we should end. Those 8-foot trees, we should start and where it should end. That's what we're discussing. We can't, because it's a curve and there's gonna be a lot of sight of cars coming around.
The side, the left side of the house, the structure, but not the entire lot.
Yeah, that's what we're saying, that's what we're discussing.
That's engineers do.
I've been here before.
That's why.
Over the years I've been here, I understand the situation.
Okay. What do you think, Charlie? We recommended to put it out of the driveway site, which is where that line is, that 35-foot line?
Yes.
No, that line right there. From there to the end of the
end of the house.
20.
To the end of the setback.
To the end of the setback. To the end of the setback.
Right there.
Right there in the corner.
No, more.
More, right there. That's the backyard.
That's the backyard.
That's the backyard.
Yeah.
Within 20 feet of the basement.
You know? Okay?
From here to.
I didn't catch that.
How many feet?
What? What'd you say?
I'm not sure what you're saying, in terms of where it is.
Here. Right there? Further back. As you see the red? Yes. Yes. But you have to make sure that front corner is out of sight coming around the curve. Because if it is, coming out of the driveway, you have to make sure that it's out, that the tree won't block any car's sight coming down. for your house and the other house. Oh, okay. So I don't wanna make it worse. Yeah, I don't wanna make it worse, because that's a sight coming down, visibility from the property. Okay, we're up to motion. Good,
Make a
motion,
motion.
good catch.
Thank you.
Can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve with the trees, the way the engineer recommends it to go.
Okay.
Well, be specific which side the house should be facing
Facing the
That's by the name. The length and the length of the home. Along the property line. Yeah. My motion will be a little bit different than yours, whatever the engineer recommends, that's what I'm gonna leave it up to.
Okay. Who seconded that?
We can't give you this one.
1 second, let's see what the engineer recommends right now.
Charles, as I understood, you're taking it from the, offset to the garage, correct? Correct. To the rear setback line? That's what it sounds like. Okay, that's what it is.
So how many feet basically is
About
that?
120 feet.
Okay. Okay, I have a motion from Mr. Lakewood, and I have a second from? Al Halverson. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Gelli. Oh, Mr. Halverson.
Yes.
Mr. Langley.
Yes.
Mr. Natale.
Yes.
Mr. Ingram.
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Yes.
Mr. Halverson.
Yes. Okay, good night and good luck.
Next.
Next.
Next. Joseph Notice, 4072.
No, I missed the question. I said no.
Applicant is seeking.
No, his point, his point, one second. His point focal point when he started was also wrong. And that's what gave the whole thing also when he came, when he fixed that, and he did the final as the curve is where that is correct. When it came to the measurement curve, when it came to the measurement curve, something didn't drive, and that's when he picked it up. Okay.
It's funny, the neighbor picked it up.
Okay.
The applicant is seeking approval to construct 405 square foot addition to an existing two-story dwelling. The applicant is seeking new bulk variance relief, including side yard and aggregate side yard setback relief as necessary to construct the proposed addition. Existing non-conforming conditions include a shed, as depicted on the survey, less than 5 feet from the northerly side yard line. If remaining bulk variance relief is necessary, new bulk variance relief is necessary as follows: side yard setback, east side 5 feet proposed, 10 feet required. Aggregate side yard, 19.3 feet proposed, 25 required.
Okay. I think we've heard these kind of
Ron, do you
applications
swear
before.
or affirm to tell the whole truth?
I do, Brian Flannery Jackson, New Jersey, licensed professional engineer, professional planner. We'll start off by saying the shed will be relocated. Removed.
Removed, all right.
The shed's being removed, is that what you said?
The shed will be removed. If he puts up a new one, he'll get a permit from Fran, and he'll be the only one in the neighborhood who has it. The only one with the, right, the only one with the permit, certainly not the only one with the shed.
5 feet from the property line.
I see 696 square feet. What?
The shed only has to be 5 feet from property line.
No.
The shed's being removed.
Okay. Franny, you said before 595 foot addition? Is that what you said before?
Read the report, I think it says.
696.
I know 696, I thought I heard a different
The
number.
applicant says, well, according to Terry Bose, project description, 405 square foot addition. So he's wrong.
I see here 696 square foot addition. I know.
Which is
pointing it
Read
out.
what it says.
So which is it, 696 or 405 according
Go with
to?
696.
You going 696? Okay.
692 actually.
692.
Oh, discount.
692, so next gen is also wrong. Okay. So next gen rent is very not a good company. Okay.
Sounds like the previous estimate.
Yeah. Okay.
Mr. Notice, he's putting this addition on so his mother can stay with him. His father just passed away. His mother is here. It's an existing house. This is where it fits on. We're asking for a relief 5-foot side setback where 10 is required and 19.3 feet combined side setback. It's an existing house, the way it lays out, the way it fits to accommodate for his mother. We're respectfully requesting the variances. Obviously, he'll do the things the board always asks for. And there was a comment in the report about what the well and well tank was. It looks like an irrigation system. And the other item in the report was the shed, which would indicate will be removed. I can go through the master plan about all that stuff, but it's good. That's my testimony. The board should grant the variance without any detriment to his own plan.
Mr. Flannery, one of the questions, one of the comments was how many new bedrooms would there be?
There's one bedroom on the first floor and 2 on the second floor. And I would imagine those will be when his mom has somebody visit. There's bedrooms upstairs.
And how many parking spaces are there now? There's less than 4.
There's 3 parking spaces now. He doesn't anticipate the need for any additional parking.
Mom doesn't drive? Yes, you firm Hill Walkthrough.
Yes, Yosef Notice 30 Commonwealth Drive. In regard to the parking, my mother.
Are you Mr. Notice?
Yes, I am. My mother does drive, but I know you probably won't believe me, but you come and see it. I actually don't have a tenant in my basement. I know it sounds a little unique, but I don't. So therefore, I don't see that we need more than 3 spots. We have 2 cars, myself, my wife, and my mother. And we don't anticipate to put anyone in the basement, so it's been like that for the last while. Hope it'll stay that way.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
I don't know how you're going to take this, but I'm going to ask you, I have to ask you this question. This is for you and your
mother.
Is a nursery on the 2nd floor?
Yes, because.
Explain.
What?
Explain.
No, my mother has a lot of children and they like to come to shops. So if they come, they should be placed for the people to stay upstairs. That's what it is. It just means it's an undersized bedroom.
So it's another bedroom?
I don't know, that's part of the bedroom. It's too small for a bedroom, it's for a crib.
Okay.
Someone has a newborn baby, they could come for Shabbos and have a place.
Good answer.
And Brian, is it your opinion that this is the only way you can build it, not in the back?
Yeah, in order to lay it out where it works for his family and his mom.
So she would have a self-contained apartment without, if it would have been in the back, it would have to go through a living room or a kitchen.
It would be a long walk every time she comes in and out.
This way she can feel private and go in and be on her own. If you needed space for another parking spot, do you have a space in the front of the house?
You like green, I thought you liked green.
But when like you just testified, when the other kids come, the other siblings come, where they gonna put their cars?
Well,
To visit
it's
the mother,
a
be with the mother.
cul-de-sac on both sides, so there's no one going through there. We've never had an issue on the block of parking unless someone is living in a Simcha. But that doesn't change. There's single family houses, there's plenty of room, you can put 3 or 4 minimum cars between each house. We've never had any complaints about parking, and there's no way to go through. It's a dead end on both sides. So,
I see on the 2nd floor you have an open hallway right into this new addition.
Right.
You go right in, and on the first floor you have an open door bringing it right into the, I guess, your living room over there?
Dining room.
Right, dining room, whatever, yeah. And the basement is going to stay raw and empty, or?
Yeah, unless you win the lottery.
Unless you win the lottery?
You're not adding a second entrance into the basement.
No, there's no entrance outside to the basement. I don't see one.
No.
I don't
Not putting
see.
in a tenant, you don't need an entrance.
I don't see an entrance there. Okay. 5 feet is really, no air conditioners on the side of his house?
It's on the right side.
And it's gonna be powerful enough to pull all the way
No,
over?
so there's a new one that I'm gonna go in the back.
On the back? Okay.
One new unit for the new park.
I understand.
But a condition that we approve.
Obviously, air conditioning can't be on that side.
And there won't be any window wells? There's two basement windows
On that side or in front and left?
on the side.
Okay, so there'll be no window. Now I have no window wells.
And so there won't be no windows on this wall going in the basement? It's gonna be a blocked up wall?
No window.
Okay. You know, I just wanna make sure.
I'm not
5
putting
feet,
any
I'm really
apartment
not a
up there.
fan
I
of
don't
5
need
feet.
I don't
As
need.
you know, I'm not a fan of 5 feet, I want to see at least something, wider. Especially if you have window wells or an air conditioner or a garbage can sitting there.
Yeah.
And the constantly showing you have to get back there with emergency apparatus, it's not going to work, you know?
Okay, so we'll put in that, approval, but we know
The
window
next
wells.
house, how far away is the next house from this property line?
20 feet.
20 feet?
From his property line, it will be
Yeah, from this property
So
line.
it's 25 between the house.
And we wouldn't have a problem with, overpowering and looking into the neighbor? Did you discuss it with the neighbor?
Yeah.
That is looking, windows closed and,
He doesn't have windows on that side.
sukkah, I can't build there.
The sukkah's in the back and the windows, he has no windows on that side.
The windows on.
Yeah, there's no windows on that side of his house.
Why, there's a window in the nursery?
No, he doesn't have windows on that
Oh,
side.
he doesn't have windows. Okay, as long as there's no windows in the back. Open to the public. Okay, anyone in the public want to be heard, please step up.
Or they're out.
Private three, right, confirm his vote.
I think this is a beautiful thing, that somebody is building an addition for his parents to live with him. I think this is tremendous. The question that I have is, I'm afraid that everybody's going to come to the board and tell the board that the mothers are moving in with them and make additions. And if somebody needs it for himself, I have no issue. But just what I was asking is, they were speaking about a mother, where's the father? I hear, so she's an Almuna, so that gives us another reason this board to actually. What? Maybe you can say in Yiddish. But again, I must say, sitting in this board and hearing like these developers coming in individual and coming in, they want to build something for the families, this is Kibbutz Avraham. It's a beautiful thing, and other people, whoever will listen to this, should learn from this. Everybody should extend their houses for the mothers and bring them in, and including your kids should do it to you if you approve it.
I think you should send your house for your mother too.
What?
I think you should bring in your mother.
Apologize to the mother, she just lost her husband a couple of months ago.
Why do I have to apologize for that? I didn't do it.
Jerry.
Okay, I'll close to the public, can I have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve this.
Motion from Moshe Langley, second from Hal Howison. Moshe Ingber, sorry. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Gelli?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson?
Yes.
Mr. Langley?
Yes.
Mr. Naftali?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
And Mr. Halberstam?
Yes.
Oh, Mr. Ingber?
Yes.
Good night and good luck.
Thank you.
Good night.
Sorry for you.
You're really good at this shape.
I have a $1 million question, guys. We're going to do a big application.
And we came in with various applications, what do you ask?
We came back with what the board asked for,
Great development.
no concerns, the report says we need a lot width, we're gonna change that lot line, it was a little skewing effect.
Nothing attached, right?
You're doing this in 20 minutes.
I can do it in 10.
As long as it takes us to say yes, he can do it. I'll tell you what time is it now?
10:40.
20 minutes and then we can continue with it.
Yeah. 5 to 11.
Okay, on the resolution number 4027, the
5 to
applicant.
11, cutting down this application.
fine, and then we have to use the property.
The
We have
app-
to use the property.
The applicant received bifurcated use and density variance relief to construct up to 29 single-family homes within the R40 single-family residential zone, east side of West Fourth Street, opposite of its intersection. The applicant is requesting preliminary and final major subdivision approval to subdivide existing lot 98 in block 25102 into 9 new single-family homes. Okay.
How many?
9.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, out of members of the applicant, the board member now will be presented before the board for use. Bifurcated application, the board has granted us, the use variance, to construct up to, as indicated, 29 single-family homes. We're going back on a portion of that site, and we're seeking 9, on this property. And that is not this ordinance, Mr. Flannery.
I do. Brian Flannery, Jackson, New Jersey, licensed professional engineer and professional planner. As the report indicates.
Brian, I just want to get one legal question out of my way before you continue. There is a ordinance that was just adopted in 2007 that we shall not give any new approvals or any new permits until the road widening has happened on Cross Street. I just want to make sure that everyone understands that.
That's your characterization of it. It's wrong. The ordinance that was adopted said this should be R12 when the roads are approved.
Correct.
So we're not asking
That's
for
what I want to make sure.
relief for the R12 because the board already granted a density variance to allow us at 2.7.
I understand that.
This is a different project. Anybody that comes in next door who doesn't have that density variance already, then it's going to be a different argument. Not that I'm not going to make that in the future. I've had many people ask me to come make that argument.
I just wanted to put that on the record that everyone understands that this does not fall under that ordinance and under that jurisdiction.
So I marked 5 exhibits. A1 is the rendering of what we're asking for, showing the 9 units. They're coming off of Drake Road. Drake is a horrible turn in that road, which will turn into a T intersection. We have Sonnenfeld Court that comes in and intersects with Shulman Court. This is a temporary cul-de-sac at this point. A2 is a tax map showing our property in orange, and then there'll be an additional Shulman Court will go through, and there will be an additional court.
Was that have legal approval already?
That's part of the
That's part of the
Yes.
Yes.
So why didn't you bring in the whole thing?
Because this is a county road, and I met with the county engineer. The county takes a whole lot longer to get on board, and there's things we have to do. The county's asking for additional right-of-way. So when we come in with this, we want to give you all that information.
But I would like to see how this whole thing is going to flow through. I can't see how it will flow through.
How many houses is there?
Well, the county did say, you can see we've moved the original plan that came through that road up here. The county said move it as far away as possible from Maplehurst Avenue. So that's why it's down here. The county has looked at this, the county told us what they need. We have these plans being developed. This plan was submitted in December, and it's just taking this long to get to the board. So this is clearly conforming with what we were asked for by the board initially. The same density. It's going to come out. The sketch is a little different than what you saw because I met with the county and I wanted to make sure what the county wanted. The county saw this. They're on board with this application, and those plans will be submitted.
Jerry, we can listen to an application like this, which is coming piecemeal.
Sure, you've had subdivision.
Because I don't know what's going to end up looking at the other side.
You've had subdivision phase 1 and phase 2. I guess that's what we're talking about.
Yes, the same thing was done on Newport 2 months ago.
I agree.
Several times, the whole thing is one bifurcated application, is granted now.
But at least let me see some conceptual what we're looking at to do the other side.
But that's what, Brian?
Can I see that? Give me the bottom.
That's part of that?
When I finished with the A2, I don't know.
It's a continuation.
A2 is the tax map showing in orange this property, which is lot 98. The original variance was 90 and 98. 90 next to it shows in red the layout that's on A5, showing how the entire thing we laid out. 85 is a of lot 98 that's currently being worked on after negotiations with the county. 83 is a tax map just highlighting this property so you can see the whole area of Drake Road and the horrible curve that we're on. And 84 is an aerial, in case anybody didn't. The only problem with 84 is lot 98 is the one that's highlighted. 99, which is, I got it wrong. 90 is what's highlighted, 98 is tonight's application. And it's currently, there's a single family home there at that bend. We're putting in 9 lots conforming to the criteria that the board granted the use variance last summer.
Now, with no bulk variance.
Right. In reading Terry's report, there was a comment on the lot width of lot 98.08, and when FWA did the plan, they measured the lot width per the ordinance at an angle. The back is a little short. The back is 4 foot short. We're going to move that lot line over that 4 feet, so the only difference is going to be that lot line is there. The lot line is going to be 4 feet over, so this back line is 90.
Is that, which lot is that? Proposed lot?
Proposed lot 98.06.
That's the one that's listed in.
It's listed in Terry's review letter.
We're not asking for that variance.
We're not asking for that variance. It's not needed. Additionally, in Terry's review letter, he indicates that a side setback is needed, and that's because we submitted typical architectural plans. So these are all going to be custom lots. We're talking about 9 custom lots on 12,000 plus square foot lots. The one lot where it looks like the box is a little over the line is lot 98.03, and my testimony is that there'll be custom houses on those lots that will fit. No variances are being requested. No variances are needed.
Now, assuming for the sake of the discussion, the zoning board approves phase 1, it has to be conditioned upon approval of phase 2, because how are you going to get the Drake Road from?
Well, we don't need to get the Drake Road for either, but they both complement each other. But both have access. This is 9 lots on a cul-de-sac. There's absolutely nothing wrong with 9 lots on a cul-de-sac. This, when we come in, this has already been approved, so this will just be finishing off the puzzle and getting out the crossing.
No, let's presume for the sake of discussion that phase 2 is never approved. How are you going to get to phase 1?
Phase 1 is off the Drake
Off the Drake Road.
Oh, it is Drake Road.
Yeah.
So where's Drake Road on A2?
This is great.
Oh, all right, got it.
This is cheap.
Got it.
The nice thing is when the county does approve it, we'll have a new.
And the county didn't want it as a.
Okay, you have no variances and no design.
That's correct.
Correct. And we comply with the letter, and in the end, this is a net number, will be no more than 29 single family lots when we come in for the total. But this will be the first section of it, and it'll be 9.
And we'll comply with
So
all the.
there are 20 on here?
I think at the most, should be 20, no more than 29 houses on that.
There's-
total?
there's
There should
actually-
be 20 on this.
There's a couple lots that
Which
get
is right-
subdivided up, yes.
Yeah, which is right over here.
Yeah. Yes.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 19, 20, 21. Is that wrong?
Well, this one got counted twice.
No, don't count this one, just count this
This-
and that
this
one.
one
You're in the
don't.
line.
This
This
one's
one's
not.
on this one.
Don't count that. No, don't count that.
Don't count this, these two.
Right.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22.
How many people say?
There's no 29.
29, is that
And
wrong?
29 houses, that's all the use variance was given.
Right, no more than
This is
29.
9 of them.
So there has to be 20 on this one.
When we come back, no more than that. The renderings overlap each other. This is that.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Yeah, there's 22 here, and the overlap counts.
The overlap counts for that?
Yes. You counted that one in.
Correct.
Yeah, that one's
I'm
not.
sure the rest of it is.
Yeah, they're only.
More than 29.
Yeah.
No, that's what we, we had this 9, it was 29.
Okay, so we're not asking any variances, we just have to make sure it looks nice and beautiful, and, okay?
I touch on something that Jerry mentioned.
Yes.
This is phase one. I guess there'll be phase two, or maybe a phase two and phase three.
The next one's all in one.
Okay, all in one?
Yes.
The county doesn't give the approval on opening up that road. Worst case scenario.
Well, worst case scenario, we have a 9-lot subdivision and a chicken farm.
Okay.
That's
No, are you gonna create another 20 over there, and
Let
then
me
use
finish
their
my
commercial,
question.
the traffic coming in?
Let me finish my question. If, it could be that the approval was given with two entrances and two exits, and now there's only one entrance and exit, and the entrance that.
Let's say you only have 9 lots.
I understand for 9, but they.
The other 20, if we don't have the access to Cross Street, we don't have the use variance. The use variance had that coming out to Cross Street. We don't have a use variance if the county doesn't approve.
You agree with that?
Yeah, that's all right. I mean, this is 9, if this stands alone, which I think is your.
I have no problem, it stands alone.
9 lots, you've got one way in, one way out, but they're all conforming lots.
I have no problem with that. I'm saying on phase, 2.
On phase 2, he's got to have another road
He's gotta have
out.
Cross
So
Street
approval
open.
unless they can get cross.
And the applicant agrees also.
Now, to the board, I do have a problem with this, if the second part doesn't approve, there can be a better setup than this for those lots. To go on a little loop like this and be going all outside on the same.
That's the chance that.
Yeah, that's just the take.
It's
What
not.
I mean, but once we approve it, we're finished. So then, let's figure out a better setup, or wait until we have the other one.
Well, Mr. Natale, I've met with the county now for 4 months, and these plans are being worked on, the county engineer is okay with these. This is
How much more time until you actually get a yes and go?
Well, any of the applications are subject to county approval, so you make this application, subject to county approval, and then you have nothing to worry about. The only one who wastes time is us, and I know for a fact that we're not wasting time.
Why are you doing it in 2 sections?
Because the
Mine is
other, Brian, before the other section of it is of the road, they weren't happy with the first set of.
And it's two separate owners, so this owner who has 9 lots wants to get going.
2 of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, any questions from the public?
You affirm that the whole.
I affirm. I want to speak about the special treatment that this applicant is getting. He came for this board, in front of this board, he withdrew the application. Technically, after speaking to Jerry afterwards, the attorney, he said is if he withdraw the application, he can't come with the same applicant again. He did come. I know what I'm talking about. Let me finish. He came again with the application, and then he came with a trick that he's not asking for R12 zoning. He's asking is that you should give him, he should have the option of coming back to R12. If the board told him that not necessarily will give you R12, we could give you R15, we could give you R20, we could, the only benefit that he had then from doing it, that he could downgrade it to R12 is that he doesn't need now 5 members. That was the trick that he did then, that he shouldn't have to have 5 members, but technically, and I'm quoting what the chairman said, we could give him R15s, we could give him R20s. That's what you quoted him. Obviously nobody remembers now is because this applicant, for some reason, is the only application that while the master plan was going on, and everybody in Lakewood got this condition, that they could only get this R12, not even R15, R12. They could get it. Once the roads are finished, the board over here went fast and gave him this bifurcated an approval that he should be able to come back for the zoning without the requirements from improving the roads. And this is the applicant, the same applicant that did initially the Oak Street corridor. He got approval from the zoning board, and then the township went. Yes, he got it from the zoning board approval by the Oak Street corridor. Went from R40 to R75 over there. It's actually R10A. It's a dangerous intersection that he did over there. Dangerous on Route 9. It's a hazardous. It's dangerous. Somebody will get killed over there. And he got special treatment over there. And everything got messed up over there. The whole Oak Street corridor, whole combined. The same application that gets over here special treatment. I'm not saying that you won't approve it. You will approve it because he always gets special treatment. I didn't find any other applicant that is getting special treatment. I'm not going to mention names. The previous time I mentioned names, you got all upset. So keep quiet about mentioning names. But I think is that an applicant comes over here and gets the other applicants, you're making so much sugar. The guy has like an extra 5 feet this and a homeowner and this. And here you just look away and you're giving him something that nobody got at Lakewood. Nobody got it. Everybody has to wait for their road improvements. And he gets it. That's all I have to say. And please don't tell me good night. Like everybody else, you say thank you very much. Good night is not necessary.
Mine. Unless anyone else wants to step up, seeing none, we'll close to the public. Guys, any comments or motion? We are at 5 minutes to 11. What?
I can respond to a lot of this stuff. A lot of stuff, it's all storytelling. You're taking fat pieces of stories over the course of a 2-year period, and now taking and saying, oh, it all happened overnight. And it's completely false.
What about the road? Say about the road.
The road section was put in the last second, at the end of the master plan. This was approved way before that even came up. They had nothing to do with each other.
Absolutely nothing to do with each other, and in addition, this applicant will pay a impact fee to the county, so that the county has money to make the improvements that everybody else is waiting for.
They are paying impact fee?
Yeah.
That's what I've done. Through the chair?
Yes.
The only thing that I was hoping, I do recall this, was I was hoping, because, we tried to bifurcate the application, but it clearly says in the bifurcated application, in the resolution, that it'll be 12,000, but up to 15,000 square feet. I only find one 15,000 square feet, one is 20.
One is 20.
One is 20, and everything else is 12,000.
Take a look at the other one.
And you have another 20, up to another 20 units coming from the.
Yeah, but they're mostly all 12,000.
No, there's some 13,000, some 14,000, and 15,000 over there. Also, I looked at that.
Just one last question before we make a vote on this. What is the actual zone right now?
The zone is still R40.
It's R40, and we have a use variance for no more than R12. That's what this board.
No more than R15.
No more. Between 12 and 15,000, and no more than 29 units.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Brian, if I have a question, did the county require that you do bigger setbacks on crossroads?
Yes.
So they're gonna be able?
Oh, no, not a bigger setback, a bigger dedication. In the
How
county.
much dedication are they taking, and just talk to me about if they discussed, them widening that road?
They're requiring us to give enough that there's a 4-lane section, so that there's 2 lanes in each
And
direction.
did they see that, and did they mention that, that's a possibility in the near future?
Yeah. Right now they're working on upgrading all the intersections to accommodate those, and then they have to get, either dedications or they gotta condemn the property in order to have enough property. But this applicant is giving that property.
Conforming 100%,
Yeah.
so this won't be an issue.
Yes. Plus giving impact fees.
Are
so
they
that
asking you guys to put turning in lanes or out, or doing indentation on the other side?
No, because they feel with the accommodation of the 2 lanes in each direction, that's, if we had cross street 2 lanes in each direction, master plan meetings would have been so quick, because all the seniors that complain about all the time they spend, if there's 2 lanes in each direction, they don't have to.
And as far as Obi goes, I think the chairman did mention that on phase 2, there's gonna be bigger lots.
Yeah. Well, there's 2 bigger lots on this phase, 2 out of 9 is, yeah. And it's consistent with 29 children, which had bigger ones.
Okay.
Through the chair.
Yes.
I'm not comfortable with this. I think I feel a little bit pressure. I think that I don't like, if for any reason the county, this plan doesn't happen, I don't think that's the best setup if we keep it the way it is. We're gonna be playing going like that, going into Drake. Drake comes in an angle. The houses are packed in together. We have to vote now quickly. We don't know what's gonna be later. I'm not comfortable. If this would be a straight out forward plan with 6 houses, 7 houses that it can stand on its own, then fine, let it start with this one. And then eventually we can see how it's gonna play out when we go out. Now, we don't know if it's gonna go out or not. And if it doesn't happen, the cars are gonna go into the cul-de-sac. We don't know what's gonna happen when they turn around. This one is gonna go in, and each one has 2 families. Where are all this going? Into a turn on Drake? And
So what do you recommend?
We wait until that finishes, or present something with 7 lots, or something straight, something that can stand on its own. I don't.
Okay.
Well, I would respectfully disagree, because I think cul-de-sac, you're talking about 9 houses, people are gonna know it. This intersection is horrible today, it's gonna be a T intersection, which is gonna be better, there'll be stop signs on all 3, so that the vehicles stop, and you have 9 houses on 12,000 plus square foot lots, that, I can see the owner saying, well, maybe he wants something a little different, but as far as any of the people that would buy the houses there, they're gonna love.
Independent.
Yeah.
Hey, yes.
I feel very strongly this, even if the next piece does not get approved, this is a good subdivision. It's very nice.
If it
There's
doesn't.
nothing wrong with it.
If it doesn't get approved, you know.
The rest,
The
the next piece does
I'm
not
rather
approve.
worried that if the other one doesn't
Next
get
piece
approved,
won't be
you can
allowed.
do a nicer subdivision for these first 9. And that's when he's more worried about.
And I know that's not gonna happen, because I've been meeting with them for months, but if that did happen, it's gonna happen before we start building this, and it would be in this property owner's best interest to say, okay, let's go back and look at something different. But I know.
That's what I was asking you, when do you anticipate that that's going to happen? That's gonna be before?
Well, this application we're gonna submit soon. We're gonna submit that
Next
this
month,
month.
in 2 months?
And it's gonna go right into the county at the same time. The county already has this
So it's
application,
gonna be way before you start building there.
way before we start.
I'm afraid that if you start building there, then everybody's stuck. Then you can't do
no.
anything about it, then you're gonna come in, it's nobody built.
Yeah, we need a sewer approval for this first, and the sewer approval is gonna take more time than the county approval on the other. So it's definitely before we start building.
So then why
we're
don't you
gonna
just bring
have
everything in at once?
What's that? Different owners, yes.
Sonnenfeld Court.
What?
Is that a private?
We want to move forward with this, have this done, get the resolution, compliance.
You're financing it, why did you have to move
Well,
it?
it's public roads.
Public road?
Yeah.
And again, I respectfully disagree with Mr. I don't know if there's going to be a better layout for these 9. Maybe there is.
Are there on-street parking over there or off-street parking?
It's all off-street parking, there's 4 spaces.
But are you allowed to park on the streets there?
Yes.
One way, 2 ways?
32-foot wide streets.
And single family?
And
Single
single
family. And it's a nice neighborhood where probably most of them are not gonna rent, basically.
How wide are the lots?
I have something, it's 11 o'clock, 5 minutes past our pumpkin time.
What's it called? Cul-de-sac, that be closed up on the weekend?
No,
Oh, it's a public road also?
It's a public road.
Okay.
It's a public.
I have a motion, if the board is ready?
Yes.
I would make motion to approve.
Now, is there any conditions by the front of the house in terms of stucco brick?
I'm pretty confident the usual conditions, but these look like premium houses.
You can put in the usual conditions, but we're gonna supersede those, anyway.
these are single-family beautiful homes. You have a motion?
Yes.
I'll second.
A motion from Vice Langley, I have a second from Mayor Gelli. Madam Secretary, roll call, please.
Mr. Gilli?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson?
Yes.
Mr. Langley?
Yes.
Mr. Naftali?
Yes.
Mr. Ingber?
Yes.
Mr. Ingber?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson?
Yes. Good night and good luck.
Just Brian, on the next, we're gonna, more than one in the next 20, should be, larger, try to get them over. Looking for a couple of 15
Minutes and, resolutions and, any resolutions?
Yes, Martha?
Yes, pass up the resolutions. Would you, who am I passing this to? That's going to Go ahead.
If you can read my handwriting, let me know, Frank, right? If you can't read my handwriting, let me know.
Oh, you did it?
Yes.
Notes for me?
Yeah. Okay, come on, we gotta go.
What do we do? We want to do the resolutions?
Do you have these resolutions from last month?
Yes.
All say aye here.
Okay, on all of them? You want
Yes.
to-
Yeah, all of them.
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Gelli?
Yes.
Mr. Langley?
Yes.
Mr. Ingber?
Yes.
Mr. Gonzalez?
Yes.
Mr. Halverson wasn't here, so these are all good?
Yes.
Let's do all the resolutions.
Motion to pay bills?
Motion?
Motion to pay bills.
Motion.
They don't bill.
Pay the bills. They will pass the back. Good night.
Good night, take care.
Good night.
Good night, guys.